Spring will soon be gone and summer's coming on, but before then, we've got non-league baseball here on this Friday night. It's the Pleasantville Greyhounds and the Wildwood Warriors here on Military Appreciation Night from Maxwell Field. Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Brian Cuniff on the call of Cape Atlantic Live. This is a great collaboration that we've been able to do, and with Wildwood in their camo jerseys and Pleasantville coming to town, these are two programs that are on the up and up. Pleasantville 11-8 and Wildwood 13-7.
Yeah, these are two teams that are enjoying winning seasons. Wildwood doing it with a very young team. They have no seniors that start. They have multiple freshmen in their starting lineup. Pleasantville, they haven't had a winning season in a long time. They've been very competitive. A couple of really good wins coming in here at 11-8, and they've won 5 straight games. And a big comeback win the other day, earlier this week over Lower Cape May. They beat them 13-12, scoring twice in the 6th and twice in the 7th to win by a run. So Coach Franklin Arena's team is doing a nice job so far this year, and this will be a good matchup tonight in the non-league with Pleasantville and Wildwood.
Well, Wildwood is throwing the ball down. We're getting off to a quick start. These people don't mess around here in Wildwood. We are right on time. We're going to take a quick break, flip the camera back around, and we've got Pleasantville and Wildwood coming up. Ready to go here from Wildwood. Your starter is Trevor Troiano. We'll talk about him in a moment, but for now, here from Maxwell Field, the first pitch of the ball game is a swing and a miss, and we are underway 0-1.
And this is Alex Caraballo, their leadoff hitter, obviously, batting .472, and he leads the team with 12 extra base hits as well.
Caraballo takes takes a ball that time, 1-1. 57 degrees game time temperature at first pitch, wind blowing somewhat out to right field. As that one moves inside, and it's 2-1. Pardon?
I'm sorry, Trevor Troiano, a 2.86 ERA. This is a pretty good pitching staff for Wildwood. They don't strike a lot of people out.
They have 104 on the season as this ball's flown in the right field. It's deep, and it's going to get over the head of Wildwood's right fielder. It's going to get picked up. Caraballo is going to go to third base, and how about a bang to lead off the game? He's got a triple into the right field gap just towards the 370 sign, and Wildwood gives up an extra base hit on the first batter of the game.
Well, you had mentioned right before that swing how the wind is blowing out to right, and Vinny Fusco Sweeney out there in right kind of misjudged that. I don't know if I don't think he expected the ball to carry that much, and it got past him, and Pleasantville gets its leadoff hitter on with a triple.
Well, here is Angel Garitas. He's batting .432, a career .318 hitter, but he's 19 for 44, 17 RBIs, 2 home runs this season. As that one misses up, and it's 1-0. Here's your starting lineup for the Pleasantville Greyhounds, as led by third-year head coach Franklin Urania. For the Greyhounds, it'll be, as we said, Alexander Caraballo is your pitcher batting leadoff. It's Angel Garitas behind the plate. Joseph De La Cruz is the shortstop. There's a swing and a miss. Alejandro Morales is the first baseman batting cleanup. Gabriel Quinones is the third baseman batting fifth. Henderson Tavares, your second baseman in the 6th slot. Aaron Marenko is the designated hitter at the DH spot in the 7th position. Eric Rosado in center field in the 8th slot, and then Edwin Vasquez in right field. That one skips in the dirt, and it's 2-1. But a base hit there by Caraballo. Pleasantville as a team have combined for 41 extra base hits this season. 5 home runs, 5 triples, and 31 doubles. Troiano ready. This one is hit out to left field. This one is pretty deep, going back, and that one's going to be off the wall. Got to play at second base. He will hold up there. And Angel Garitas with an RBI double, and Pleasantville's quest for 6 straight starts with a knock. And the Greyhounds lead this one 1-0.
Yeah, this wind is going to wreak havoc to these outfielders this evening. That ball over the head of Matt Mayer in left field. Now this will bring up Joseph De La Cruz. He's hitting .372. He leads the team with 22 walks, so obviously he's got a good eye.
I think that also helps that in the Cape Atlantic United you have a lot of teams that are also more prone to walking a lot of batters. You got a lot of high-scoring games. You know, I think about the division leader and division winner, St. Joe's Hamilton. They played a cross-division matchup to open the year versus Holy Spirit, and the final score of that game was 17-14. So, and they have a perfect 12-0 record. Now the Cape Atlantic division play is more or less wrapped up. That one was up high to De La Cruz. This one is hit out to left center field. It's pretty deep, and that is going to get down. Garidis will go to third. Green light from his coach. Relays coming in. It's up the line. RBI double for Joseph De La Cruz. I couldn't tell if he went to second on the throw, but it'll be 2 bases nonetheless. And Pleasantville with a huge jump with nobody out. 3 extra base hits to open up the game, and they lead it 2-0.
Yeah, I think that one, Dan, I think you would score as an error. I think that one probably had to be caught in left field out there. But either way, Pleasantville off to a good start here as they lead, as you said, 2-0, a runner on second, nobody out, and Wildwood wants an early conference at the mound. The infielders without a coach, kind of out there talking things over.
I'll give you the benefit to the error because I was focusing on where the runner was going, and I didn't see through the fence whether or not that was a catchable ball. So I'll put it in my book as an E7 on Wildwood's left fielder, and we'll have their cleanup man. We'll take a look again with Trevor Troiano's stats for Wildwood. He's coming into this game with a 2.86 ERA in 36 2/3 innings, 13 walks, 25 Ks. He has 69 career Ks in his career. He does hold a 1.82 whip as he's allowed 53 hits as a member of the Warriors this year. Strike is called.
He was a little frustrated on a couple of the early batters. He thought he got a couple of strikes on the outside corner that were called balls. I think as the game goes on, you just want that to be consistent.
Well, he'll get another one, and it's 0-2. Morales, the batter for Pleasantville, 6-foot sophomore, batting .283, 1 home run, 13 walks, 15 for 53 with 11 RBIs. Troiano looks back at second and delivers. Outside that time. Don't mind the zone shrinking a little bit on 0-2 there. I think he was trying to hit the same location 3 times in a row, and that time it just trailed enough for the home plate umpire to call that one away. 2-0 Pleasantville. 3 straight base runners on here for the Greyhounds and 2 runners home. Game started with Caraballo tripling to right field, and then Garidis followed home with an RBI double. And then De La Cruz got in the second run on what we are scoring as an error. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Troiano looking back again. Strike 3 on the outside corner.
Yeah, Troiano took something off on that one, and I don't know if that was a straight change or if it was a little bit of a curveball, but that certainly fooled Morales, and he strikes out looking. Big first out for Wildwood, and that'll bring up Gabriel Quinones.
Quinones, a freshman for this Pleasantville team. He's batting .400 as a freshman in 20 at-bats, 8 for 20.
Yeah, part-time starter with just 20 at-bats. Most of the players for Pleasantville, the regular starters, are in the 40s and low 50s with their at-bats. But they think enough of him to bat him 5th here, and he's in an RBI spot here in the first inning with 1 out.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do if you're Pleasantville is to have this momentum go to waste, because you guys are obviously in a good position right now with those 3 straight runners reaching. You really want to continue putting the bat on the ball, really continue putting yourself in a good situation and continuing to put balls in play. Quinones has had 2 multi-hit games this year, 1 versus Wildwood Catholic and 1 versus Atlantic Christian. As a strike called, 1-2.
Troiano might do well to throw it up there again, maybe throw it a little bit higher than that last pitch. See if he can get a strikeout.
And he did, tried, but that one missed up and out. And it'll be 2-2. Home plate umpire wearing his military attire. We missed most of it but on our broadcast, but it is Military Appreciation Night here in Wildwood. All the Wildwood coaches wearing camo gear, and they had an an Army sergeant throw out the ceremonial first pitch. And, of course, Brian, you got to do the public address for that, which was a great opportunity to see. Wildwood had their honor guard come out. I thought it would maybe be a JROTC, but they presented our nation's colors well. As we'll have the 3-2. Swing and a miss. That one at the letters. And Gabriel Quinones goes down on strikes. Troiano with back-to-back Ks. And that's out number 2.
And Quinones there, that might have been ball 4, but he couldn't take the chance. He had to try to take a swing at that, and he swung through it.
The fundamentals of baseball teach you to swing at anything close with 2 strikes, and that's exactly what he did. As it'll be Henderson Tavares, the batter for Pleasantville. Another freshman on this Greyhounds team, 5'10", 140, batting .395 this year. He has 22 stolen bases. If you remember, Pleasantville was top 3 in South Jersey in terms of stolen bases last year. They were up there with Doane Academy, who had over 150 stolen bases as a team. And I thought to myself, you know, how much of it is wild pitches or pass balls getting scored? But then I saw Doane actually play a game, and they weren't lying. They weren't kidding. It was real. Every single time somebody got on base, they had somebody moving on the first or second pitch of every at-bat. As another swing and a miss makes it 2-1.
Tavares was way ahead of that.
It'll be the Troiano brothers batting first and second for Wildwood, followed by Nolan Mahiney in the bottom of the first inning here from Maxwell Field. A breezy Friday night as a swing and a miss.
That's a really good curveball there by Trevor Troiano, especially, you know, after swinging through the previous pitch and being way early. That was really good to come back with another off speed, and I would surmise that they would throw another one here.
We talked about momentum. We'll see if Pleasantville can add on to it. That one's low and out. That's one of those sliders and breaking balls that really just, it kind of freezes in the air. You really don't know where it's going to land, and in that case, it just lost all of its momentum, ducked down to the right, and it was very wise for the freshman in Tavares to take that one. Full count, 2 outs, and a foul back keeps it alive.
So good job by Tavares there to stay alive.
Pleasantville 11-8. They are 10th in South Jersey Group 2 power points. They would be on the road versus West Deptford if the power points held as it is, which we all know that it really can and will change in the next week.
And this is a big game for both teams in terms of power points. Pleasantville with these 11 wins, Wildwood with 13. So whoever wins this game will get a big jolt in terms of the power points.
3-2, looking to stay alive in the first. Strike, 3 on the outside corner. Trevor Troiano, what a comeback.
Yeah.
3 straight balls put in play, 2 runs across, but he finishes the job with 3 straight strikeouts to retire the side. We go to the bottom of the first here at Maxwell Field. Wildwood will take their at-bats, leading off with the Troiano brothers down by 2. Pitcher for Pleasantville, your starter is Alexander Caraballo. He comes in with 27 innings pitched. He's allowed 27 walks, but he has struck out 34 batters. He's got a 4.10 ERA, and he's got a whip in the 2.08, as he will face the Wildwood Warriors, led by head coach Rich Hans. Their starting lineup for the 13-7 Warriors, it'll be Trevor Troiano and Gianni Troiano. Trevor in the leadoff spot, the pitcher. Gianni Troiano, the shortstop, batting second. And I was corrected by my good friend Brian. They are cousins, not brothers. Nolan Mahiney is the first baseman, batting third. Michael McWade, the catcher, batting fourth. Michael Blanda to the center field, batting fifth. Lewis Sewell at third base, batting sixth. Will Audie, the DH, in the seventh slot. Owen Bannon, the second baseman, and Vinny Fusco Swinney in right field. So Trevor Troiano leads off for Wildwood. As we mentioned, they are 13-7, having somewhat of a renaissance year in their swan song season in the Tri-County Classic, as he'll take a strike at 1-1. Troiano, the junior, as you mentioned in our open, no starting seniors for this Wildwood team. He's batting .441, 30 for 68, 17 walks, and 20 stolen bases. As that one misses at the ankles, 2-1.
And he's a really good leadoff hitter. He has an understanding of the strike zone. He knows what his job is here, is to get on base any way he can.
2-1 from Caraballo, inside, call a strike.
And he's on pace. That's not a lock, but he's on pace to get 100 career hits. There haven't been many of those around here in Wildwood.
And could he get 100 career strikeouts as well, as he had 3 in the first, as that ball's bobbled at second base by Quinones. Throw to first, not in time.
Yeah, Troiano can run, and you know, a lot of times when you hit that ground ball to the right side, if the second baseman just knocks it down, he can get the out. But Troiano was busting it right out of the box. Give him credit, and he beats it out on the error.
That's why they tell you to hustle, because that could make the difference between an out and an RBI. It can make a world of difference, as the batter will be his cousin Gianni Troiano. We mentioned, though, 70 career hits for Trevor Troiano. He's up to 72 career strikeouts. Certainly could hit both 100 margins in his senior year, as Gianni Troiano takes up. .431 hitter for him, 28 for 65, 8 walks, also 17 stolen bases for him. So the Troiano brothers have been swiping a lot of bags, and really the entire team has 94 stolen bases this year,
and
as time is called. Rich Hahn's going out to talk to the home plate umpire.
Yeah, I think there's an issue. I think Rich Hans has an issue with the way Caraballo is going in the stretch, I believe.
Because you
and
do
the umpires are going to come together and talk about this. By the way, the umpires are Larry Ziemba behind the plate, Tim Small on the bases.
So I'm thinking that when you go into the stretch, you have to declare, right? You have to declare when you're going into the stretch before the at-bat?
Well, no, you don't have to declare. I think he thought he was maybe stepping to the side too much.
Okay. You know what? We have seen that before with a pretty big controversy in a playoff game we had last year between Pittman and Maple Shade. One of Maple Shade's pitchers, he didn't pitch a whole lot, and when he did come into the game, the umpire had called him for an illegal pitch twice without any warning, and there was a bit of a controversy over that as Gianni Troiano fouls it back. And the one thing I'll say is that he had mentioned, the pitcher Morales, or his coach Michael Webb, had said that he had not been called for an illegal pitch all season, but he had been in that motion. So it was maybe the umpires hadn't been seeing it the same way that the ones that day did. But it's 2-1 to Gianni Troiano. It'll be Nolan Mulhenny on deck. He'll throw back to first, a low throw, not in time.
Wildwood's a team that plays a lot of small ball. They do like to swipe a lot of bases. They'll bunt.
I feel like that's typical for a lot of Group 1 teams, not just Wildwood. I mean, Woodstown has been famous for their woody ball, and it helped them win a state championship in 2022 as a 9 seed, as a strike calls with the letters 2 and 2. I mean, heck, my alma mater, Audubon, has been known for a while that, you know, when they need to get a run, they'll drop a bunt down, they'll steal a couple bases, they'll do whatever's necessary to get a run, because that's what you have to do in Group 1. Everybody's got to play as a team. Runner goes. Swing and a miss. Throw from behind the plate is high. As Angel couldn't get the throw down, it was a little bit high, and Troiano gets the stolen base, and his cousin Gianni strikes out. One away for Nolan Mulhenny.
Caraballo, a good curveball there on 2-2 to strike out Gianni Troiano. So here's Nolan Mulhenny, and he's hitting .361, and this is a kid that has gotten a lot better. He didn't play a lot of baseball as a youth, came out for the team when he got to high school, and he's just really improved. Good athlete. He's on pace to score 1,000 points in basketball.
Pretty solid Wildwood basketball team as well. I mean, really, a lot of Wildwood sports are doing very well. Like I said, I'm an Audubon grad. Those girls basketball teams have knocked out Audubon for like the past 3 years straight. They've broken our hearts, but I think that's one thing that you can really take pride in as a Group 1 school is when you have a lot of athletic teams that are doing well, a lot of programs that are succeeding. It really creates a lot of pride in this community, especially for a school so small. I mean, the student population of this school might be, if I'm correct, like 400, 500 folks, as there's a ground ball. That one's going to get bobbled. It goes off the glove of the shortstop. He'll throw it to third. That ball gets away, and now here comes Trevor Troiano. He will score as the ball mishandled in the infield by the Pleasantville Greyhounds, and the Warriors are on the board. It's 2-1.
That's not a good decision there by Pleasantville. You know, the ground ball between third and short, and obviously the third baseman is vacating the bag area to try to make a play on that. And Caraballo, the pitcher, did a good job of trying to run over there and cover, but that throw came as Caraballo was arriving, and it was an errant throw, and that leads to the first Wildwood run. And Mulhenny on the infield hit is able to move up to second base on that throwing error as well. So Wildwood with a man in scoring position to try to tie the game as the cleanup hitter Michael McWade steps in.
McWade batting .339 as he gets a swing and a miss on a fastball upstairs. 21 for 62. He's got 10 walks in his last game versus Pennsville, which was the biggest game that Wildwood's had all year. They fell 5-3. He had 2 for 4, 2 RBIs. Pennsville did clinch the Tri-County Classic outright with the win, as they had beaten Wildwood twice. But the fact that Wildwood, a team that hasn't really had its chance to shine in the Tri-County Classic, how ironic is it that probably the best season they've had in years in this division is the last that they will play in this division before they will go to the Cape Atlantic League starting next year. It'll be no balls, 2 strikes after a foul tip and a swing and miss. And he's going to lace this one over the head into right field. Morales didn't go up and grab it. Stop sign at third base. It's a base hit for Mike McWade, and that'll put runners on the corners here for the Warriors.
Mulhenny had to freeze, Dan, because of the line drive. He thought, which was a good play by him, good base running, he thought Morales, the first baseman, might have had an opportunity to catch that. So once he froze, Mulhenny had no chance to score. Coach Rich Hans holding him. And now Lysander Ruiz will come in as the courtesy runner for the catcher, Michael McWade. Good job by McWade just with 2 strikes there, just dropping the bat head on it and going the other way and getting the line drive base hit to right.
Yeah, it's very fundamental hitting, and that's something that Wildwood prides themselves on. I mean, you see a lot of singles and a lot of doubles. Again, as you said, very fundamental baseball here as Michael Blanda's the batter, batting .281. He'll bat with 2 runners on in the corner positions as a strike is called. But what I'll say is that in that situation, if that ball was just floated a little bit higher in the air, very well could have tied the game. But in the first inning, no need to be over-aggressive. Very good stop there by Rich Hans at third base. That one's high. Runner goes. It's cut off by the pitcher, and he got Mulhenny to go off of third. And now the ball gets away. He couldn't corral it in, and the game is tied. The ball was thrown out of play.
Yeah, I believe the ball, there's another, we can't say it here with our angle, there's another entry point to the Wildwood dugout on the far side of the dugout, and that throw, I believe, went into there, or maybe went under the gate that is right next to that. But either way, it's out of play.
And that moves the runner to third.
Yes.
So 3 bases for Michael Blanda for McWade because
Ruiz, the courtesy runner.
Sorry about that, Ruiz, because he moved from first to second. He was going, and then Caraballo, I was surprised he cut it off, I guess because they were trying to stop a first and third steal, as this one's popped up over in foul territory. This could stay in play, and it will drop in front of Morales.
Yeah, Moret, that ball maybe was not in the air long enough to do so. If you can, the play to make on that for Morales would be to run over and find the fence with your hand, and that way you know where it is. But that ball, I don't think was in the air long enough for him to be able to make that kind of a play.
Definitely would have been tough, and not every first baseman can make it as a sawed-off swing that time. A very
really good job by Blanda to fight off a good curveball there with 2 strikes.
Very defensive swing at that.
Bland is a kid, Dan, that can really, really run. And, you know, he's one of those that if he can get a ball on the ground, he can often beat it out for base hits.
Infield is in for Pleasantville. They have the first and third baseman in, and then not entirely on the grass, but a couple steps in is the shortstop at second baseman. As that ball gets away, here comes the runner, and Wildwood takes the lead. So the second run scored on the throw away, and the pinch runner, the courtesy runner, comes in on the passed ball, and Pleasantville's good doing in the first inning is erased. It's now 3-2 Warriors.
A lot of room back here, probably 25, 30 feet behind the catcher to the backstop. So that pass ball results in a run for Wildwood.
They're going to say Blanda went. Disagrees with it, but it's strike 3 nonetheless, and that's out number 2. Second strikeout for Caraballo as Lewis Sewell will be the batter in the 6th slot. Another freshman here for Wildwood, batting .290 in his rookie campaign, 20 for 69. 17 base hits, 3 doubles, and 6 stolen bases for him. He also had 2 hits versus Pennsville. He's had 5 hits in his last 2 games, 3 versus Salem Tech and 2 versus Pennsville. We'll take a look at the Tri-County Classic standings on the right side of your screen. The Pennsville Eagles, they clinched the division with the win over Wildwood yesterday, as they hold a 15-win season so far, 11-6, pardon, and then Wildwood 13-7, Pittman 6-10, Clayton 5-10, Salem 0-14. Sorry about the tech issue, but those are your standings.
That was a really good game yesterday between Wildwood and Pennsville, and get to a point about what happened late in that game in a moment.
Umpire says Sewell did not go.
Wildwood got their trailing 5-3, got their leadoff runner on, and then what appeared to be a base hit to right field ended up striking the runner. Rather than having first and second with nobody out, it was a man on first with 1 out.
As Sewell cranks this one to center field, but it'll be taken in. Racing in for that one, Pleasantville makes the catch, but Wildwood brings home 3 runs, including 2 on either a throwing error and then a passed ball. So could be a high-scoring one tonight here at Maxwell Field. We'll be right back after the break. Wildwood 3, Pleasantville 2. Through 1 here at Maxwell Field. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Brian Cuniff of Cape Atlantic Live, as a swing and a miss to lead off the top of the 2nd inning for Aaron Marenko. 7, 8, and 9 for Pleasantville. They brought home 2 runs on the first 3 batters of the game, but then Trevor Troiano settled in and got 3 straight strikeouts. That one misses away, 1-1.
Yeah, the one thing about Wildwood is, you know, they're in a little conundrum with their pitching. Get to that point in a moment.
The strike called.
In that Troiano is their best pitcher. but he's also their best shortstop. They actually have their best defense when he's in the field. But luckily for Wildwood, two of the freshmen, Will Audie and Lewis Sewell, have thrown well for the Warriors this year. They've kind of slotted in as the numbers 2 and 3 pitchers as freshmen.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Troiano, swing and a miss. That's 4 straight Ks for the junior right-hander. He gets Marenko swinging and will go to the center fielder, Eric Rosado, in the 8 slot for Pleasantville. Now, Pleasantville, they're 11-8. As we said, they're 10th in South Jersey Group 2, but this is the first time in over 15 years that Pleasantville has had a double-digit win season. They won 8 games in 2025, 8 as well in 2024, and there were some stretches some 5 to 10 years ago where they were only winning 1 or 2 games a year. So this has been a renaissance for this Pleasantville team, and in the 3rd year of Franklin Urania's tenure at Pleasantville, it's really only been up because in the year before him, they only won 2 games, and in his first 3 years, it's been 8, 8, and 11. A bunt, foul, back behind the plate. Only 1-1 to Rosado.
Yeah, it's nice to see Pleasantville becoming a lot more competitive. You know, I think a lot of teams a few years ago almost looked at Pleasantville as an automatic victory. That is certainly not the case. They have a few really good baseball players. And a coach who knows what he's doing as well.
They had a 13-12 win over Lower Cape May, and Lower Cape May's not having the best season right now. They're 5-14, but still, that was another matchup that maybe a few years ago would have been considered, as you said, like an automatic win for the other side. As Rosado pops this one up on the 2-1, just goes out of play. Mulhenny couldn't get that one in the dugout, and it's now 2-2.
Yeah, so Pleasantville trying to bunt their way on here, 2-2. So you would think Rosado would be swinging away here.
And Urania himself, he's a Pleasantville grad in the class of 2018. And those were the years where Pleasantville was only winning 1 or 2 games a year. So I'm sure that he, you know, once he left the program as a player, probably a couple of years go by and he says, hey, I want to jump this program, give it a spark of life, and that's exactly what he's done. But Troiano now with 5 straight strikeouts as he retires Rosado, and we'll go to the 9-hitter Edwin Vasquez.
So big batter here for Troiano. He wants to make sure the top of the order does not come up in this inning.
Because that could definitely reset the gears if you're Pleasantville being able to get something turned over and get it back up to Caraballo, who tripled to right field.
That borderline pitch low has been called a ball all night. And Troiano's had some frustration over it. That ball was outside.
Definitely.
But you know, I think all you ask for is consistency, and that ball's been called a ball all night, which is fine. And the hitters and pitchers need to make that adjustment.
2-0 is up and in, and the hopes of him getting out of this inning without facing the number 1 hitter, definitely not out, but it's looking slim as it's 3-0. If he does turn the lineup over, as we said, Alexander Caraballo will be next, who tripled to right field and swiftly scored on an RBI double by Angel Garides. 3-1 on the strike called. A 3-2 ball game. You're watching coverage of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting from Cape May County. Fun fact, this is our first baseball game, or first broadcast that we've covered in Cape May County since 2022. When we did a summer league game, and I believe it was in Middle Township. Couldn't tell you who was playing. It's been so long, with one of those one-off gigs that, you know, you remember it and then you forget it. But another foul off by Vasquez makes it 3-2.
It's a good job by Vasquez there, as Troiano fought back to get it to 3-2, threw another strike, but Vasquez spoiled it with that foul ball.
Troiano looking for 6 straight Ks. And if not, 6 straight outs, as another one fouled back on top of the Wildwood Recreation Center. Behind us, obscured by the view of the Recreation Center, is Wildwood's football field, which Cape Atlantic Live does great coverage of their football games during the season, with Matt Ulmer as well. As it'll be 3 balls, 2 strikes. Vasquez as the 9-hitter making a valiant effort to stay alive. Troiano, the 3-2. And a good take for ball 4. I question myself if I had the right count. But
I don't like that pitch call. Yeah, they went with an off-speed pitch on 3 and 2 to the 9-hitter. I mean, I get that he fouled off 2 fastballs. I want to make the 9-hitter put the ball in play on a fastball. You know, I think Wildwood got a little cute there, calling an off-speed pitch on 3 and 2, and now they turn the lineup over, and here's the leadoff man, Caraballo, who opened the game with a triple and scored the first run of the game in the first inning.
Well, I think the intent that Troiano had was to get that pitch lower in the zone, because I don't think that really he was intending for that ball to be up there. I saw him like kind of, a look of regret as soon as he released the pitch. But if it works, it works. And if he got him to swing and miss, then it would have been a great way to end the inning.
Yeah,
but the gamble ended up not paying off.
Yeah, you at the high school level, most kids are going to throw their fastball for strikes more consistently than their off-speed pitch.
Very true. First pitch, outside, 1-0.
Like I said, that's the 9-hitter. I'm going to throw fastballs and make him get a base hit on that.
Caraballo, the pitcher. Both teams fielding their pitcher in the leadoff spot with Angel Garidis on deck. 3-2 Wildwood in the second inning. As from the stretch, strike called outside corner. Looked like a slider of some sort, and it's 1-1. But Pleasantville, as we said, had 3 straight runners reach in the top of the first inning, and then 3 straight strikeouts. Troiano was able to shut it down. That's where those 2 runs came from, though. The throw back to first. Last time these 2 teams met, it was 9-7. So really no surprise that when Pleasantville and Wildwood meet, there's going to be a lot of runners touching home plate. As this one popped up, back behind the plate, this is going to be a tough play. He calls for it, and McWade makes the catch to end the inning.
That's a difficult play. We'll go to break, and we'll talk about that when we come back.
McWade makes the catch, and through an inning and a half, it's 3-2 in favor of Wildwood. Welcome back. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on their first attempt. You can book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman at 614 Lambs Road, just minutes from Route 55. So, Dan,
that last play that was made by Michael McWade, why that's – first of all, it's difficult for a catcher anyway on that pop-up behind the plate. But the way Wildwood's field's constructed, it's crowned, and when you come back off the batter's box circle – you're actually going downhill a little bit. And obviously you're looking up and you're wearing all that catcher's equipment. It's not easy to catch that pop-up behind the plate. That was a really good play to end the inning by McWade.
It's a very good point, and I didn't even notice it, that we are a little bit lower to the ground going back behind the plate. You're absolutely right. There's a dip that goes back there, so it's kind of like trying to catch a pop-up on Towles Hill. You know, maybe not as extreme as what it was in Houston, but we'll have 7, 8, 9 for Wildwood, leading off with Will Audie. Owen Bannon and Vinny Fusco-Sweeney as that ball's floated into shallow left center field. It just got over the head of De La Cruz. It's a leadoff base hit for Will Audie here in the bottom of the second.
Well, give Audie credit. I mean, that ball is probably up, but on 0-2, he has to swing at it. And he did a great job of leveling off and not popping that ball up and floated a line drive base hit over the shortstop's head.
So the batter will be Bannon with a runner on. Wildwood scored 3 runs across 6 batters in the bottom of the first inning. Showing bunt. Hits that one off the scaffolding. It's 0-1.
And Bannon's got to let the ball catch the bat. He kind of jabbed out at the ball, and that's why he fouled it off.
Bannon, another freshman, batting 186 this season. He has 11 hits, 11 walks, and 13 RBI. And he has hit safely in 3 of his last 4 games, including both of Wildwood's games versus Lower Cape May, as they have played the Warriors twice. We were talking with Rich Hans, and of course, to people that are not all that familiar with South Jersey, which I run into them all the time, something that people ask me is, well, why does Wildwood play all these teams in Pittman and Clayton? And that's one of the first questions that I ask when I first did a Pittman game, as that ball, I believe, hit the runner on the throw over. But when I first started covering South Jersey baseball, when I was a sophomore in high school, the first question that popped out to me was, why is Wildwood playing teams that are an hour away in their division?
Well, you probably need an hour for me to explain why.
Exactly. That's something for one of our podcast episodes. But Caraballo looks over, and the pitch is going to get away. That one drills the backstop. It gets a good carom to the catcher, but it will be no avail as he'll get down to second base. But to make a long story short, Wildwood is moving back to the Cape Atlantic League for the 2026 to 2027 season, and most likely in most sports they'll be in the United Division.
All sports except girls basketball.
Good to know.
Girls
well,
basketball
that would make sense.
We'll go into the national conference.
That makes sense with how good their girls basketball team is. I think they'll need at least 1 year in other sports to prove it. And I honestly think with how they've played versus Cape Atlantic United teams in baseball, that they'll do well in that division. The only thing is that, you know, you have a trade-off here. Because if you're Wildwood, there are not many Group 1 schools, and frankly even Group 2 schools in the Cape Atlantic. You have obviously the non-publics. You have St. Joe's Hamilton and Wildwood Catholic, and you have in Group 1 you have Buna and Cape May Tech, and then you have a few Group 2s like Lower Cape May, Middle Township, and Pleasantville. But a lot of the schools in the Cal are big schools. So here comes a bunt. This one's going to go out in front of the mound.
Oh, nobody's covering first.
Oh, wow, that ball's going to get away. Here comes the runner in to score. Bannon will get down to second. He's on his horse. He's turning. He's headed for third. The ball is loose. No throw, no play. 3 bases on a bunt that went 15 feet in front of the box.
Yeah,
wow.
Some miscommunication there with Pleasantville. Morales, the first baseman, charged on that bunt, and then Tavares, the second baseman, did not get over to first base in time to cover. And Pleasantville might have been better off just eating that baseball after fielding it. And they tried to make the throw anyway as Tavares was arriving, and it goes down the right field line, and Wildwood picks up another run.
So a rare 3-base error as Bannon just didn't stop running. And the batter will be Fusco-Sweeney as this ball's popped up on the bunt.
That was a suicide squeeze. That's something that Wildwood does a lot, actually, especially with the bottom of their lineup.
For Sweeney, a junior, batting .067 this year, so he's looking for his second hit. His one hit that he had this season came versus Wildwood Catholic in a 9-0 win in mid-April. As they'll get a swing and miss.
The one thing Fusco-Sweeney has done, despite he kind of misplayed that ball in the first inning, he's played a pretty good right field. He's been DH for a lot for Wildwood, but he's turned into a pretty good outfielder.
Got an 0-2 here from Caraballo. He'll tap this one out in front of the mound. Caraballo covers the mound. He's going to throw to the plate. Now we'll have a rundown. They just want to chase the runner back to third. He's out at third. Hans vehemently disagrees with the call. and it'll get the runner down to second base. We'll have a replay of that, and that'll be the first out of the inning as Wildwood is denied another run and, frankly, denied another base.
Yeah,
as the runner's out at third.
I think Audie, Pleasantville, their middle infield wasn't all the way up, and I think Audie thought he saw the ball hit up the middle, and I think he thought that ball might have been going over the pitcher's head, and he initially broke for home.
It does get the runner to second, but Bannon out at third.
Oh, that was Bannon, excuse me. Yes, I said Audie. Yeah, Bannon.
Yeah, Audie came in to score on the throwing error. We'll take a look after this batter. We have the replay loaded in, ready to go. I would do it quicker, but Caraballo's working pretty quickly, so we'll have to get a slower look at it. To Troiano, skies this one. Runner's ready to tag. This one goes into shallow center field. Vasquez drops it. It hits off his glove, and it's going to kick into shallow right center field. Here comes the runner from third. He'll have a play at the plate. It's late. And another run comes in as Wildwood picks up another, this time from Fusco Sweeney, and it comes off the bat of Trevor Troiano, and it's now 5-2 Warriors.
Yeah, and if you're a batter or a base runner tonight, any pop-up or fly ball is going to be an adventure with all this wind. And, it was a tough play out there for Rosado in the wind, and he couldn't come up with it.
Taking a look now at the replay here. We'll take a look. This was the swinging ball out in front of the plate. We'll see how I got the angle on the rundown here. See if we are able to get it. That's tough. We'd have to look at it a second time, but that one missed to Troiano, Gianni Troiano.
What I would say too is Larry Ziemba is not a young guy, but the umpire.
Runner does go. Throw to third is in time. And Wildwood again disagrees with the call, but Trevor Troiano is out. And 2 outs on the base paths are what give Pleasantville an escape plan for this inning.
Yeah, but on that play at third that we had just shown the replay for, Larry Ziemba is a sports guy, been around sports all his life. He just started umpiring a few years ago, has really become a very, very good umpire. But I think if he had that back, you want to take a better angle to that. He was looking straight up the baseline to try to make that call. He's got to go either in the field of play or out in foul territory to get a better angle to see it. And I'm not saying he got it wrong, but
pop out to second base is caught, and the inning is over. We'll take a look at it one more time when we go to break. Through 2 innings here in Wildwood, it's Wildwood 5, Pleasantville 2. Welcome back. The beautiful scenery of the Wildwood beachside here from Maxwell Field. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Brian Cuniff of Cape Atlantic Live, doing a little collaborative broadcast tonight. It's been a great one so far. Wildwood 5, Pleasantville 2. It's 2, 3, and 4 for the Greyhounds, starting with Angel Gorillas, as he's going to lace this one out towards center field, backpedaling and making the play.
Yeah, that's Michael Bland in center, and it's a good catch, and Wildwood got the out. But really, when that ball is hit like that, as an outfielder, you have to turn your hips and run to that. You really don't want to be backtracking. You're off balance. You're not covering as much ground. Now, again, it's a tricky night with the wind. I think tonight almost fundamentals go out the window.
Yeah.
If you make the catch, that's good enough.
Yeah, I forgot how to read positions for a second, but yes, Blanda making the play. And I think you're absolutely right. I think the one thing that they teach you when they're doing outfield drills is, you would rather be too far back and have to take a few steps in than be too far in front and have to take a few steps back, because it is way too difficult to overcorrect.
Yeah, and the other part of it is, too, that line drive that's hit right at the center fielder can be very tricky. It's tough to judge. It's tough to judge the distance. And, Blanda, it might not have looked fundamentally perfect, but made the play, and that's what counts.
That one misses away on another breaking ball. 2-1 to De La Cruz. He reached on an error in left field in the first inning. De La Cruz, though, 0 for 1, and the on-deck circle will be Alejandro Morales. Just about 55 degrees tonight in Wildwood. Certainly not your typical Wildwood night, but I guess any time before Memorial Day, this is very typical.
Well, this is, yeah.
Because I don't live down here.
Yeah, no, we're a good 10, 12 degrees cooler than pretty much
it's that
everywhere
ocean
else in
breeze
South
for
Jersey.
you.
Yep. So a 4-pitch walk there. De La Cruz will trot down to first base. That'll bring up Alejandro Morales, the first baseman.
It's the second walk allowed by Troiano. He allowed one to Vasquez in the second inning. He worked that count full, but was unable to retire Vasquez as he allows the walk to the number 3 hitter. Morales, though, 0 for 1. He was the first of 3 strikeouts that Troiano picked up in the first. He's a total of 5 today, as that one's low. And one thing that a lot of people forget in baseball is that not only does the wind affect the fielders, it also affects the pitcher, because it can affect the movement of your ball and the movement of your pitches, just like the altitude does, as a late back pick by McWade, and he's safe back at first.
No, McWade has had a very good defensive season for Wildwood. He threw out a runner trying to steal yesterday. One of the recent games, he threw out 4 runners on the bases, either trying to steal or picking them off, just in that manner right there, throwing behind someone at first base. You go back to that previous inning, Dan, and Wildwood scored 2 runs, but they also made 2 outs at third base in that inning. That it really could have been they lead 5-2, but it really could have been a bigger inning for the Warriors.
Yeah, they definitely would have liked to have something back there, as they made 2 of their outs in the field. And both of them, if you ask Rich Hans, would be something that he disagrees with. But at the same time, there's no video replay review here at the NJSIAA high school level. So just got to deal with what's on the field and can't get too upset over it. Count is 1-2. Throw back to first. Runner gets back in safely. But Wildwood, the 3rd seed in South Jersey Group 1. Again, as we said, as Morales goes down swinging, 6 strikeouts for Troiano. How ironic is it that Wildwood is having their best season in years in the Tri-County Conference in what will end up being their last. They're 5-2 in the division. As we said yesterday, Pennsville won the division outright with a win at Wildwood. Wildwood, I apologize, they've slipped down to 4th in power points. They will play number 13 seed Pittman, another division rival, if power points held up in the first round. Ball missed inside.
Yeah, sometimes that'll be maddening trying to figure that out. You just wait till cutoff day.
Exactly.
It changes so much.
There's so many hypotheticals that go into it, and I really don't even try to calculate or try to figure out the power points. I just trust what the numbers say. As this ball is going to go over to first base, it will stay in the ballpark, but it's out of play. For South Jersey Group 1, the top 4 is Shalleck, Woodstown, Haddon Township, and Wildwood. 5 through 8 is Pennsville, Audubon, Glassboro, and Buna. 9 through 12, Maple Shade, Gateway, Riverside, and Paulsboro. And then the last 4 in, Pittman, Leap, Cape May Tech, and Clayton. First 2 out, Palmyra and Burlington City. Waiting for that ball. Waiting for everybody to come back in play as it's 1-1. 2 outs. Runner on first for Pleasantville after the walk to De La Cruz. Quinones lines it, caught at third base, and the inning is over. So Wildwood gets a nice line drive, caught in the glove by Lewis Sewell.
Troiano got away with a mistake there. They wanted that pitch up. He threw a fastball right down the middle, but it ends up in a line out.
At the end of the top of the third, where you go to the bottom half, it's Wildwood 5, Pleasantville 2, as the Warriors try to add on some more runs. Welcome back here from just outside of Wildwood High School at Maxwell Field at the Wildwood Recreation Center. As that ball's outside to Nolan Maheny, 3, 4, and 5 for the Warriors. They lead it 5-2. 3 runs across in the first, 2 in the second. As that one is up.
Caraballo has had some, he's been okay tonight, but he's had some control issues during the season. You know, he's pitched 27 innings. He has 27 walks and also has hit 15 batters.
And that's one thing that Pleasantville will have to control, because even though this is a non-conference game, you know, your Cape Atlantic United playing is more or less over at this point in the season. So they're going to have to worry about, you know, focusing what they only have 4 games after today. They host Camden Academy Charter on Tuesday, and then they are on the road for 2 of their last 3. They visit Lower Cape May, which is a Cape Atlantic national team. They beat them on Tuesday, but they'll play them again on the 14th. They're 5-14 this year, and then they have a home-and-home versus Gateway Friday the 15th, Monday the 18th. But Gateway's not doing too bad either. They're hanging right around 500. There's a swing and a miss. Maheny goes down on strikes, and that's the third strikeout of the night for Caraballo. Excuse me, words are falling out of my mouth. Caraballo, 1 away. Batter will be McWade.
Yeah, that's a rarity too, because Mawhinney rarely strikes out. So good job by Caraballo to get the leadoff man.
McWade singled and scored in the first at bat. As this one goes to Caraballo, got a foot race to the bag. He'll flip it over to his first baseman. Caraballo went down to a knee that time, and a 1-3 ground out, softly hit to the pitcher, is the second out as the batter is Blanda.
That's a good decision by Caraballo. You want to shorten that throw as much as possible, and he had the catcher running in McWade, so he did a nice job sprinting over there and making sure that toss was only from about 15 feet to Morales at first base for the second out of the inning.
I think Pleasantville is also trying to make up for some of their defensive mistakes. They had 2 errors in the first inning. They had 2 more in the second. this has been a night to forget in terms of their defensive play. Now they've hit Troiano decently well, but in the defense, that's one thing that programs without a lot of people, without a lot of especially Cape Atlantic United, I see a lot of those teams have a lot of defensive troubles, and they try to teach those fundamentals and drill them into them, if you will. And making a play like that, making it a better situation for everybody, that's what works out. Counts 2-1 to Blanda.
You mentioned Lower Cape May. They're playing a rivalry game right now as we speak against Wildwood Catholic over at home this evening.
That one hits Blanda. Now, let me ask you this. Wildwood Catholic, there's obviously not a lot of room to build places and build fields here. Where is Wildwood Catholic's home field?
So their home field is out at County Park.
Okay.
Right off the parkway there.
Is that on the island?
No, out at Cape May County Park, up
Okay.
in Cape May Courthouse, the northern part of Cape May Courthouse.
Kind of like how Gloucester Catholic is in Gloucester City, but their home baseball field at Joe Barth Field is almost 10-15 minutes away from the actual building in Brooklawn. The first pitch. Here comes the throw down to second. Not in time. Throw was a little bit wide. And what I'll say as well is that they're not the only one. I mean, Rancocas Valley plays off campus at the RV Sports Complex, although that's a little bit different because almost all of their sports are there. Soccer, lacrosse, softball, baseball. Pretty much everything except for football and basketball is played at the RV Sports Complex at East Hampton. This ball's jammed, popped up towards first. Morales has a play, and he'll make the catch at the end of the inning. For the first time today, the Warriors are held off the board as a scoreless third comes from Alexander Calabralo. Through 3, it's the Warriors 5 and the Greyhounds 2. Welcome back to Dan Wilkins Broadcasting coverage of non-conference baseball here between Pleasantville and Wildwood. If you'd like to make a contribution to Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, you can send anything you'd like to our Venmo at DW Broadcasting. Now, we do have a lot of folks on our crew who are college students just wrapping up the final season, and of course anything that you send to us, and of course not required but incredibly appreciated, goes towards travel costs, equipment expenses, and much more. I mean, I myself, second-year student at Rowan College of South Jersey in Gloucester County. We have Damian Waiters as well on our producer, and of course our guest commentator tonight, Brian Cuniff of Cape Atlantic Live. But we have so many other wonderful members of our crew. Shouting out Vincent Focht as well. He just got hired by our good friends over at 97.3 ESPN Radio in Atlantic City. He was 2 years the sports director at Camden County College's radio station, and his work with Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, I don't want to say directly helped, but it definitely played a role in his experience being ready for a professional job. As this ball's hit out to deep left field, this one's hit pretty well. Going back, it is off the wall. He'll have a play at second. He'll stop there, pumps the brakes hard, and getting back in there. What a piece of hitting by Tavares.
Yeah, that's another mistake. Last inning, Troiano got away with it, but right there, he's got Tavares 0-2 and grooves a fastball right down the middle of the plate. You know, that's a mistake there by Troiano on an 0-2 pitch.
And it ends up costing him with a double to left field. Believe that either hit the wall or one-hopped the wall.
Yeah, bounced in front of the fence, but it was hit a long way. And that's it. You know, that's a shot out there. It's 3:20 to left here at Wildwood's Maxwell Field.
And 385 to center, not to mention 10-foot fences all around. As the ball gets away, it'll be a wild pitch charge to McWade. Runner gets down to third. So very quickly here, before you can bat an eye, we've got a runner 90 feet away for the Greyhounds as they try to cut this deficit. They're down 3. They have not scored since the first inning.
This is the DH Aaron Marenko.
Here's the 1-0 outside. Now in terms of Wildwood, they played yesterday versus Pennsville, as we mentioned. They lost 5-3. This is their 4th game of the week. Lower Cape May on Monday, Salem Tech on Tuesday, Pennsville on Thursday. And in yesterday's game, Wildwood threw 2 pitchers. Trevor Troiano's cousin, Gianni Troiano, had an inning and 2/3, and Will Audie, the freshman, was charged with the loss. At 5 1/3 innings, he threw 90 pitches. But because Gianni Troiano only threw 10 pitches, he can theoretically pitch on back-to-back days. As there's a walk charge there, Marenko takes that one upstairs, and Troiano in a little bit of trouble here, dealing with 2 runners on, and he'll face the 8 batter in the center fielder, Eric Rosano.
Well, this is interesting here because Wildwood sometimes, Dan, and especially here in this situation when you're leading 5-2, there are times where they will just give up this run if Pleasantville was smart enough to take it. They'll try to throw this runner out at second base sometimes rather than just hold it or try to throw it hard back to the pitcher or what might be.
That's a good point. Foul tip on the bunt. Barely made contact with Rosato's bat, and it ended up in the glove of McWade. It's 0-1. But the temperature definitely dipped once that sun went down. It was nice and sunny on the boardwalk this afternoon, albeit very windy. Got to have my first boardwalk pizza of the spring/summer. But not busy at all. I mean, you saw it in the B-roll that we put on before the broadcast or in the open, that not a lot of folks on the boardwalk, but not a lot of folks have come down yet for the season, as that one is called the strike 0-2 to Rosato. Dealing with a runner on third and first. Troiano having to keep his head on a swivel with traffic on. Fouled back. Hits off the scaffolding, and it remains a 2-strike count.
And again, that's a fastball right down the middle on 0-2. You know, you got to get better location when you're that far ahead in the count.
No balls, 2 strikes, and nobody out. Fastball outside. 1-2 here. Rosato struck out swinging in his first at bat. Troiano has 6 strikeouts. He struck out 3 in the first after giving up the 2 runs. Really had a night and day first inning. That's all Pleasantville's been able to put on the board. So we'll have to see if this 4th inning is any similar to the first. Rosato calls time.
Yeah, Wildwood uses one of those pitch communication devices from their
PitchCom
coach to their catcher, and I think the sign came in late, so Rosato got tired of waiting, called time.
Throw back to first. Runner goes in standing. Tomorrow we'll have 2 games in the second round of the Diamond Classic from the picturesque Alcyon Park. At 10 a.m. it'll be Rancocas Valley and Northern Burlington. Northern Burlington just won their game versus Paul VI, so they are going to have an extremely quick turnaround for the number 2 seed. And then at 1 p.m. it'll be Egg Harbor Township versus Cherry Hill West in the second game of the day. So who knows, but 4 neutral sites for the Diamond Classic: Alcyon Park, Poployd Stadium in Atlantic City, Clearview Regional High School, and St. Augustine Preparatory School in Richland. That one's high. So you've got 2 neutral sites in Atlantic County, 2 in Gloucester County, and funny enough, none of the teams that are playing at Alcyon Park tomorrow are in Gloucester County. 1 Atlantic County team at EHT, and then 1 Camden County team in Cherry Hill West, and 2 Burlington County teams. They'll have to travel over 45 minutes to Alcyon Park. We'll meet tomorrow at 10. One goes inside to Rosato, and after an 0-2 count, he's worked it full.
I know up by you, a 45-minute ride sometimes the schools up there think they need to take a plane. A 45-minute ride for Wildwood is like a trip across the town.
Well, because a lot of their division, I'm pretty sure all of their divisional opponents are an hour plus.
Over an hour, yes.
I think the closest would be Clayton, and that's maybe an hour and 5 minutes.
That was a great pitch there by Troiano. Outside corner at the knees and froze Rosado for a big first out of the inning here. And now it's the 9-hitter Edwin Vasquez. 7
strikeouts for Troiano as Vasquez, who walked in his first at bat, will now have a chance for redemption here. With 1 out, you can have a look at a double play ball if the ball is placed in the right spot, but double plays are hard to turn in high school baseball. I see a lot of teams try to do it, and you really only get 1 out 80 to 90% of the time. 0-1. I can tell you, Pleasantville's having a party in that dugout. They're grooving out there. Here's the 0-1. This ball's hitting the right center field by Vasquez. This could get down, and it will. It'll get past Blanda, and it'll go to the wall. Runner goes to second. Vasquez will get in there. The runner stops at third. It's an RBI double as the runner, Tavares, comes in, and Pleasantville is back on the board. It's 5-3.
And they got the tying run at second base now. And again, you go back 2 innings ago, Dan, and Wildwood had, I thought, an opportunity to really blow the game open, and they make 2 outs at third base in the same inning. They did score 2 runs in the inning, but now, Pleasantville's a base hit away from potentially tying this game with their leadoff hitter in the batter's box right now in Alex Caraballo.
Caraballo working both sides, being the pitcher and the leadoff man in this game. Caraballo takes low.
Good job by McWade on that ball in the dirt.
Caraballo batting .472, 16 RBIs. He has 1 home run and 12 extra base hits, including 8 doubles. He's a career .395 hitter, and he reached on a triple, so that was career hit number 95. Could very well hit 100 hits. He had 14 as a freshman, 19 as a sophomore, 36 as a junior, and including that first inning triple, he's up to 26 here in his swan song season. No strikes yet with 1 away. Troiano delivers. That one's low. It gets away. Runner's coming home. It's a delayed start.
Oh.
No, now he's going to stop. Now we've got trouble. The ball is going to get away from Troiano, and oh my goodness, after all of that, no outs, no runs. Talk about a conundrum. The runner broke, and then he stopped. He started late and then stopped, and then by the time he stopped, Pleasantville's runner at second in Vasquez was maybe 10 feet away from the third base bag. He had to go all the way back. That was a miracle that Pleasantville didn't run themselves into an out there. 3 balls, no strikes. This ball's popped up.
Wow.
Shallow center field. This one's towards the infield grass. Going back out. It pops out of the glove. Couldn't make a play. Gianni Troiano couldn't get it in. And the run scores, but the runner Vasquez at second never moved. He did not advance, and Pleasantville gets a run on the fielding error. It's 5-4.
Again, ball in the air on this windy night. Nothing's going to be easy. I was shocked that Caraballo swung 3-0 there.
Very surprised.
And it ended up working out for them because of the error.
Because that almost becomes human nature, almost, what's it called? Just it becomes second nature, there we go, to not swing at a 3-0 pitch. It's almost guaranteed you're not going to swing at
it. Especially when you have your 2, 3, 4 hitters up, and it would have been bases loaded if he walks.
But he ends up taking the gamble, and it works. This ball's popped up on the first pitch, out towards third base, and it'll go down the left field line.
Yeah, it's a foul ball.
0-1.
Too far away from Matt.
I held off on making a call because I just couldn't see through the fence. So for Garides, RBI double in the first inning, flew out to center in the third. He's now in his third at-bat of the evening. getting prepared for a very exciting weekend with the Diamond Classic, as we said. That ball is low. Next week, Monday right now is looking like it could be either Cherry Hill West and Paul VI or Glassboro and Pennsville. We haven't really decided where we're going to go yet. We know that Tuesday the 12th will be softball between Gloucester Catholic and Clearview. And then Wednesday the 13th will be Tri-County Royal action between Kingsway and GCIT from Woolwich Township. Thursday through Saturday is reserved for the Region 19 tournament. The final 4 teams yet to be determined as of now. Most teams have played their games, but looking like it could be Rowan College of Gloucester, Brookdale, RC Cumberland, and Northampton representing the 4 teams in that tournament. It'll be played as a double elimination tournament at Rutgers Camden. Games start at 12 noon all 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So pitching coach Sam Caraballo, who was honored before the game, a military veteran, retired military member, went out to talk to Trevor Troiano. Honored on Military Appreciation Night here at Wildwood.
Yeah, great promotion that they had, a great ceremony that they had with the honor guard and the presentation of our nation's colors. Just a great ceremony all in all. I thought that Rich Hans put together a great show. But these players were working early. I got here at 5:30, an hour and a half before first pitch, and the entire team was here. They were hitting in the cages. They were ready to go. They really seemed prepared for the occasion tonight, which is always difficult to get that much work in when you're playing a 4 o'clock game and school gets out at, say, 2:30. Time was called at the box. For Garides, tying run is on second. Go-ahead run is on first, as Pleasantville has scored their first run since the first inning. He'll throw back to second. No, he's going to fake. We got a hidden ball trick. Or no. Yes, no, he did have the hidden ball trick. Throw to second is not in time. Trevor Troiano fooled everyone. And he just pulled off the George Starr play. The wheel hidden ball trick throws out the runner in between second and third, and Vasquez. Unbelievable.
Well,
I've seen that tried, and I've never seen it work on somebody.
The one thing that you have to understand about that play is, and Troiano did it right, in order to execute that legally, the pitcher has to leave the mound area, which
Correct.
he did, and came onto the grass. And they tricked the Pleasantville base runner and got a big out there.
Outside.
Wow.
Troiano disagreed with it. If the inning continues, it'll be De La
I
Cruz.
think that ball was called low, not outside. And, you might have heard some of the Wildwood faithful chirping in the background there. They didn't like that call to ball.
The field mic picks up almost everything, so for sure. Troiano from the stretch, check swing, an excuse-me swing to first base. Mahiney throws it, and he got him to retire the side. So Trevor Troiano, almost by his own volition, stops the bleeding with a hidden ball trick out, and then a check swing for a 3-1 putout over at first base. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Pleasantville cuts the lead to 1 run by scoring 2, 5-4 Wildwood. Taking a look at this hidden ball trick as the first pitch misses up and away. How about that? They ran the exact same play that George Starr made with Delsey back in 2024.
Well,
foul tip.
You were mentioning earlier about how you have so many college students on your broadcast. I was in college so long ago, there was no such thing as online classes. And what I will tell you is that I ran that play as a 15-year-old. That's been around for a long time.
That's for sure. Definitely. No, listen, it became famous in South Jersey through him as Sewell gets hit. I think he got hit in the hand or the wrist. Maybe in the elbow.
I think it's the elbow, yeah.
But
Will Audie is in some pain there. That's a bad spot to take that. And he just didn't have time to get out of the way. That's one of those things where, when you have a ball coming in on you, you want to try to tuck that elbow kind of inside your stomach a little bit if you have time, but sometimes you don't have time. And that way, you take that on a more meaty part of your body. You take it on your arm, on your thigh.
Yeah, because the elbow, they call it the funny bone, but there's really nothing funny about it.
Now, luckily,
athletic trainer is out.
And luckily for Audie, he's a pitcher, but that obviously he's right-handed and a right-handed batter, so it's off his left elbow. So after they check him, and they will Mandy Perez, the athletic trainer for Wildwood, after they check him, he will go to first base, and the leadoff hitter is on for Wildwood, and it brings up Owen Bannon, the second baseman. Bannon usually has been starting in left field this year, but Wildwood moving their lineup around a little bit, and Bannon starting at second base, and he looks like he may square the bunt here.
Bannon reached on an E1. It was a very odd play that it was with Bannon, but he grounded it back to the mound. He overthrew first base, and then he was able to advance to third on the play as a flare to left field. It's a fair ball. Barely got down within the chalk. Going to third. That ball almost hit Audie down to second. How about a bloop base hit that time for Owen Bannon?
And I thought, when he warmed up, he almost looked like he gave away that he was going to bunt, and he ends up hitting a flare. And you got to give Audie some credit, Dan, because he read that off the bat, knew it was going to fall, and ended up getting the third base on that. That's good base run. I mean, Audie's not the quickest kid out there, but you don't have to be fast to be a good base runner. That was a really good piece of base running there to get the third base on that.
A great 1-2 punch. A good piece of hitting by Owen Bannon and a good piece of base running by Will Audie, especially considering you got to imagine he's still in some pain after getting hit in the elbow, but he's still able to run at 100%. Strike called to Fusco Sweeney. It's 1-1 to the 9-hitter. He reached on a fielder's choice. That was one of those controversial plays at third as that's floated in the right for Fusco Sweeney. Gets down. Audie will score. Bannon right behind him. No throw to the plate. It's up the line. 2-run single for Vinny Fusco Sweeney. And Wildwood gets back in front. They extend their lead 7-4.
And again, not trying to do too much. Just drop the bat head. Nice line drive into right field. And that is a big blow from your 9-hitter. A 2-run base hit extends Wildwood's lead to 7-4. And now they have a man on first, no one out, and the top of the order coming up.
Well, I think about it as a response to what Edwin Vasquez did in the top half of the inning. Also, the 9-hitter had a good piece of hitting, hit it out towards the gap, and he gave Pleasantville a run that way as well. So both teams, bottom of the orders, producing in this game. Troiano takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Trevor Troiano, he's 0 for 2, but don't let that fool you. He's reached base twice, and he has scored on 2 errors. An E4 in the first inning, one that was bobbled, and then a fly ball to center field that was dropped, an E8. That one hits the scaffolding, or the netting, comes back in play, and it's 0-2. Just a great place to be here in Wildwood. Like I said, obviously it's one thing to live here, but I've spent many of my summer nights here in Wildwood, and it's a great place to be, even when it's a little bit chilly. Great community showing tonight. There are a lot of fans out here in their blankets and hoodies. They're definitely bundled up for the occasion, as that one's high. Runner goes to second. The throw is high. It gets away, goes into center field. He bobbles it, but Vasquez is able to corral it in quickly enough to hold the runner. It's a stolen base for Fusco Sweeney, and he puts another run in scoring position here with nobody out. But like I said, I've spent many summer nights here, and, you know, it's
Don't incriminate yourself. Don't go too far into the details.
I'm a rule follower, Brian. I'm not the reason why they closed the boardwalk at midnight. Here comes the throw to first on the drop third strike. That gets away. It drops from Morales, and in the interim, the run scores. So Fusco Sweeney comes around from second base on the drop third strike. Now the ball is live.
Yeah, Troiano.
Nobody was covering the bag.
Great job by Troiano. He realized no one was covering the bag at second, you know, and he ran into the first baseman, Morales. Really banged into him on that throw, but Morales was in his baseline. You know, and I think that's what the Pleasantville coaching staff is arguing, but Morales is in his baseline. Troiano has every right to that base.
Yeah, it's the base runner's advantage that he has to get around.
Yeah, he really had no option but to run through him to be able to get to the bag.
Right. Yeah, that was very odd, but a dropped third strike gets Troiano to second base, and now Gianni Troiano bats, and that hits him right in the back. So the two cousins will be on base together. You have to wonder how much of a leash does Urania have on Caraballo, excuse me, because
yeah, I mean,
you have to imagine.
We mentioned that, you know, he had walked 27 in 27 innings. You know, he hasn't walked a batter tonight, but I believe that's the third batter he's hit. Yes, he has hit 3 batters, 2 in this inning. And Wildwood now with first and second, and still no one out in the inning.
So here is Mahiney. He's going to show bunt, leaving no secrets. And he'll square up. He'll drop it to first base. He's going to try to tag him out. Now we'll get the throw down. Was unable to get him on the tag, but both runners advance. So Caraballo, after failing to get the tag, was able to make the play to first. It's a successful 1-3 sacrifice.
And that's a smart bunt there because Mawhinney squared so early, and the first baseman Morales did not come in.
Right.
So it was actually a good decision. And normally first and second, you want to bunt that ball down third. But when Morales didn't charge, that ends up being a smart bunt to bunt it toward him. And then the pitcher, Caraballo, ended up coming and making the play.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused as to why he didn't move in because it wasn't like Mahiney was leaving any secrets. He showed bunt before Caraballo was even set. So it's not like unless you pull back and get, you know, a cheap swing or something, but I found it very unlikely that he was going to do that. So even then, you just have to take your chances if you're Morales. That one's low. Runner started to break, and now halfway between second and third is Gianni Troiano, but no throw from behind the plate from Angel Garides. It's now 2-0 to McWade. Now McWade, 1 for 2, singled in the first inning, grounded out to the pitcher in the fourth.
And Wildwood could really create some separation in this game if they can get these 2 runs home here from second and third with 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth, leading by 4.
Strike called. After today, Wildwood has 5 games remaining, and that includes, well, there's a minimum of 5 games. Remember that there is the 6-team strikeout cancer tournament. We'll be covering the semifinals and the finals of that tournament on Sunday the 17th. As that ball's popped up, it'll go out of play. The 6 teams competing in that tournament are all 5 Cape May County teams. You have Wildwood, Wildwood Catholic, Middle Township, Cape May Tech, Lower Cape May, Middle Township, and then Camden Tech out of Sicklerville. They will be coming down to compete in this tournament as well. They'll have 2 round robins on Saturday, semifinals and finals on Sunday, 11, 1:30, and 4 o'clock. 3 games in one day. Should be a very fun one, and maybe the weather will be a little bit fairer, but that one's high. It's 3-1. But Blanda being on deck, McWade, if he can just get a ball down here, shallow outfield, put the ball in play, could put double digits on the board for Wildwood and could really put them in a comfortable position.
Full count here.
3 balls, 2 strikes. And he stays alive, fouls it off.
He's shaking his head because he knows it was ball 4, but you know what? You just don't want to leave it up to the umpire.
Right.
And that's really a good job just fighting that pitch off.
Definitely a good job to be aggressive because I've seen players hit balls that far out and get it down for base hits. It's just about how creative you are with the bat and how well you see the baseball. 3-2, and he takes that one away. Good carom back to the mound, or back to the catcher. Runner scores. So Trevor Troiano comes in. That ball hit the backstop, and it ended up actually, whatever it is with the backstop, it looks like it's some kind of padding. It allowed for some really strong caroms. And now Franklin Urania coming out, the third-year head coach for Pleasantville. We'll see if this is a mound visit to talk things over or if this is the end of the day. Now he's talking to the first base umpire.
The really good jump by Trevor Troiano, and what Coach Rich Hans teaches at third base here, especially with this big backstop. He wants his runners on third to take a lead and then walk toward home all the way until the catcher catches the ball. So the idea is you're moving the entire time, and now once the ball gets by the catcher, you're going to naturally get that good jump, and that's exactly what Trevor Troiano did. And even though he got that good carom coming back to him, Garitas, Troiano was able to score without a slide there due to that good jump. Lysander Ruiz is the courtesy runner for McWade at first, so it's first and third with one out with Michael Blanda stepping in.
Blanda the batter. It's a 9-4 Wildwood lead as a part of a 4-run inning and only one out, which was on a sacrifice bunt. Pleasantville cut the lead to 1 by getting 2 runs across in the top half of the inning, but this 4th inning has come to a grinding halt. Runner's coming home, but he didn't make contact, and the runner is out. And now Garitas is going to chase, back to second base. The runner is out at third. That's Gianni Troiano, out between third and home. And again, that's a big gamble because Blanda tried to get that suicide squeeze, but he missed the contact, and the runner already committed home.
It ended up as a foul tip, but what he has to do there is you have to square, on a suicide squeeze, you have to square all the way around to get the bat out front. He almost was bunting as if he was bunting for a base hit there.
Right. You really do have to grip the bat differently in that situation. That one goes behind Blanda. 8th batter of the inning for Wildwood. It'll be Lewis Sewell on deck. With only one out, 4 runs across.
So Wildwood leads this game 9-4, and they've made 3 outs combined at home and third base.
Something you got to work on if you're Rich Hans. He's probably going to talk to those guys about it. Talk about not creating outs on the bases, because that is the most devastating out you can make, is one that is of your own volition and one that you could have prevented.
Now, they're an aggressive base-running team, so that will happen to them, but, it's a game that they could have well in hand if they didn't make the base-running mistakes.
Outside to Blanda.
That on the suicide squeeze was not a base-running mistake, but it's still an out on the bases, basically between home and third.
So Troiano was retired on that play. There's 2 outs. Sewell on deck if the inning continues. That one's high, pops out of the glove. Runner starts to go to third, but holds up, thinks the wiser, and it's 3-2.
Ruiz is a younger player. The courtesy runner is sophomore, and that's where if he's getting the proper secondary lead, he's on third base there. But he didn't. He actually stopped and was going back towards second when the ball was bobbled.
Second baseman pulls off the bag, leaves the runner to his own devices, and the full count pitch is outside. Now, with 2 outs and a full count, are you surprised that McWade didn't break on the pitch?
Ruiz at second,
Ruiz,
the runner. No, I mean, I'm not making the third out at third base on a walk.
True.
I mean, especially, again, a little bit of an inexperienced base runner, not as experienced. He's a sophomore.
But that experience will certainly come with time as the batter takes that one high for Lewis Sewell, the 6 hitter. He's 0 for 2. Line out to center field on a pop out to first base. But Wildwood, 4 runs across, 9-4 game, 2 outs, and Pleasantville keeping their pitcher in Alex Caraballo. Strike called, but again,
that's a nice off-speed pitch there.
Very good pitch on the outside half, and it's 1-1. For Pleasantville in the top half of the 5th, their efforts to get back into this game will be led off by Joseph De La Cruz, followed by Alejandro Morales and Gabriel Quinones, 3, 4, and 5 for the Greyhounds. Ground ball in between first and second base, picked up on the run, throw to first. And for a game that's had a lot of errors, that was a play that was quite nice by Henderson Tavares. The inning is over, but a 4 spot for the Wildwood Warriors here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Darkness has fallen here at Maxwell Field, but the theatrics are just beginning. 9-4 after 4.
Book Dog Pro Wrestling for your next event or outing for the greatest action that New Jersey Pro Wrestling has to offer. Any place, any time, any setting, Dog Pro Wrestling will bring the action to you, and you won't want to miss it for moments like this. But don't just take it from me. Take it from Max Mundo, the Dog Pro Wrestling ambassador.
This is Max Mundo with Dog Pro Wrestling. Are you a civic organization, sporting club looking to fundraise? Then look no further to Dog Pro Wrestling. We do grand openings, corporate events, and much more.
And why not from some of the wrestling talent themselves?
I'm Vinny the Fixer, and I'm the champion of Dog Professional Wrestling. If you want to book the best, come see us. We're the cream of the crop. We'll come to any fundraiser you can think of. Just name the place and we'll show up.
This is the upstanding Dylan Mesh, and for the entirety of my professional wrestling career, dog wrestling has been a mainstay for where I like to wrestle. So you can believe me when I say that it is quality.
Top of the 5th inning here at the Wildwood Recreation Center. First pitch missed inside. We're at Maxwell Field. So we set our first broadcast in Cape May County since 2022. It's been a while.
I think Wildwood would like to be able to get Troiano through this inning. He's at 90 pitches now.
And the limit is 110. Now whether or not Hans will let him go to the brink, to the limit, we'll have to see. I mean, how much are you willing to risk here in a 5-run game? But that's outside. De La Cruz, Morales, and Quinones. 3, 4, and 5 for the Greyhounds as they try to get back into this game. And De La Cruz takes a strike. Troiano ready. 3-1 is upstairs, ball 4. And De La Cruz picks up his second walk of the day. He's reached base all 3 times, once on an error and now twice on the free pass. That's the 3rd walk allowed by Troiano, and the batter will be Alejandro Morales.
So 93 pitches now for Troiano, so he can go to 17 more. Obviously, he can go over 110.
If
starts the batter,
yeah, starts the batter
before he gets to 110. But you know, an inning where Wildwood scores 4 runs, you know, if you're the Warriors, you really want to have a shutdown inning here and not let Pleasantville get back in the game.
1-0, throw back to first, not in time. And by the way, for tomorrow, we have not gotten any confirmation or lack thereof that the games will be moved or postponed. Obviously, Sunday could be a alternative situation, but 3 of the 4 neutral sites for the second round of the Diamond are on natural grass. The only one that's not is the blue turf at Pop Lloyd Stadium in Atlantic City, which is where Atlantic Cape Community College plays their games, the Buccaneers. The throw back to first, not in time. Actually, when somebody told me, when a friend of mine told me about the Diamond Classic bracket and they told me there would be a neutral site in Atlantic City, I got excited because I thought we were bringing back the Sandcastle, but we are not, and it's instead Pop Lloyd Stadium right in the heart of AC. Big swing and a miss by Morales, and it's 1-2. The semifinals were originally at Alcyon Park and Camden County College. That has now been moved to Alcyon Park and Kingsway Regional High School, which will be on Saturday the 16th. That's the quarterfinals and the semifinals on the same day. And then the finals Tuesday the 19th at Alcyon Park, 6 p.m. Ball pops out of the glove of Troiano on the way back. And it's a 2-2 count. Morales 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts, trying to break the stalemate here tonight. Here versus Troiano. No one's outside. But you do have to be conservative here if you're Pleasantville. You know that Troiano is going to be near the end of his rope in terms of how many pitches he can throw.
Yeah, I think this might be his last batter if he ends up walking him.
3-2, popped up foul.
Good job by Morales to spoil that.
And pitches like that aren't going to make Rich Hahn's case to keep him in the game any easier, because that's going to bring up your count by one more. You said he's at 97 or 98. We've got a full count. Either way, he's near the end of the rope. Popped up again. This one will barely go out of play. It's just outside of the bleachers. And the count stays full at 3-2.
Yeah, this will be his 100th pitch here in the 5th inning. It has not been easy for him this evening, but he's has a 5-run lead here.
And he does walk him. Change up outside and back-to-back free passes. We'll see if Hans comes out of the dugout. Right now he's staying put, and Troiano will go back to his home on the mound to face Gabriel Quinones, who's also 0 for 2. And in a 5-run lead, I guess you can delay the change to the bullpen for a little while, but it can only go on for so long, because you said that with pitch number 100. He's only got 10 more in the tank. And remember, if he is at 108 or 109 or whatever, he can start the at-bat, but he just has to finish it, and then we'll have to exit the game therefore after. 2 on, nobody out. After Wildwood scored 4 runs, Pleasantville looking for a response. And a ground ball right back to the mound. He'll have a chance for 2. Goes to second, goes to first, and the ball gets away. Coming around third will be De La Cruz. He will score, and Pleasantville does get a run back. The fielder's choice gets the out at second, but the ball got thrown away, and Pleasantville makes it 9-5 Warriors. No movement yet from Hans.
Let's try to take a look at this again here. I thought, you know, and I'm not sure where Gianni Troiano was, but that really should go to the shortstop.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It should be 1-6-3.
He's moving toward first base. The second baseman's moving away. It's a more difficult throw for the second baseman.
Yeah, I thought I was going crazy for a sec because I was like, why is the second baseman over there? Let's take a look at it. Your replays of the game presented. Oh, we just got the end of it. My apologies. No, but just going off of my memory of it, you're absolutely right. That should have gone to the shortstop as a throw down to second. Shortstop was off the bag trying to defend the throw, and it's a stolen base.
That's a rare
for Morales.
That's a rare inaccurate throw from McWade. He's usually pretty accurate down the second base, and I think had it been accurate, he would have had a chance to throw him out. That's a risky stolen base as you're getting late in the game here, down 4 runs. And Quinones is shaken up a little bit.
And now Wildwood's trainer will go back out and make sure that he's okay. While we have the quick break, just a reminder, this broadcast is brought to you by our friends over at the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, or Dog Pro Wrestling, New Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization with high-flying events throughout the Garden State. They just finished a very successful event at Pinelands Regional High School in Little Egg Harbor on Saturday, May the 2nd. But to book DAWG Pro Wrestling for your next event, visit DAWGProWrestling.com for the best independent pro wrestling in South New Jersey.
All right, so Troiano is now at 103 pitches. And it looks like Quinones can't go.
He's limping on his left leg. He's walking gingerly.
So they're going to have to bring a substitute in to run for him. So this will be...
And that's going to be number 24, Braylon De La Cruz. So Quinones exits the game. Now remember, in this situation, if his condition improves, he can re-enter defensively. because he's not a pitcher or a catcher, but he is being run for. Now, is it likely that he comes back? Who knows? But what we can say is that by NJSIAA rules, if it ends up just being a quick, brief blip, that he ends up being okay, that he can re-enter the game if Urania and Pleasantville choose to do so. Just past 8:40 p.m. here at Wildwood. Our first 7 o'clock game this year. We've had a few 6 o'clock nightcaps, but this is our first game to start at the 7 o'clock hour. Just wait for the Summer League.
One strike to count here.
Troiano pulled off the bag. Pump faked the ball. Just wait until we get to the Summer League and the Tri-County Summer League, and we'll have first pitches at 8:15. As that ball's hit in the left center field, it's going to drop. Takes a left turn. Coming in from third, the throw gets cut off. Sliding in, and De La Cruz is safe. Ball went to the left fielder, Matt Maher, and an RBI single off the bat of Tavares.
Yeah, and this is going to be it for Trevor Troiano here.
So he will come out of the game. Rich Hans coming out, a valiant effort by his right-hander, but in a high-scoring affair. There's only so many pitches he can throw before his rope is done at the end of the day, and he will go back to the dugout. He's going to run back to the dugout. I wonder if he's going to re-enter in the field, and they're going to make – I mean, listen, this is Group 1 baseball. We see it very often. Pitcher doesn't take a break, comes out of the game, and immediately re-enters the game in the field. So Troiano comes out. He gives up 6 runs. I'd have to check to see how many are earned, but he gave up 2 in the first and 2 in the fourth, and 4 of his 6 runs will be earned. So we'll have a pitching change here at Maxwell Field in Wildwood, and while they get all their ducks in a row, Pleasantville has ducks on the pond and runners scoring. 9-6. We'll be back after the break. Lewis Sewell, the freshman, is the new pitcher for Wildwood. Trevor Troiano exits the game with 7 strikeouts, 4 earned runs across 4 1/3 innings. As here in a high-scoring game, it's 9-6 Wildwood. Sewell comes in with a 1 flat ERA in 21 innings. He's got 10 walks, 19 Ks, and 16 hits allowed, but only 3 earned runs. This is the 8th appearance he has made this year. His last was on Monday versus LCMR. He pitched 5 2/3 and struck out 3 in what was a 4-2 win for Wildwood over the Caper Tigers. and was outside. Here comes no throw to second base.
McWade had no chance. He got a great jump over there, and Sewell didn't pay attention to him enough.
And honestly, that's a great decision by McWade to hang on to it, because if you try to overreact and throw it to second, you could very well throw the ball away and give up another base, which, considering Wildwood has done so much to distance themselves from Pleasantville in this lead, in this game, Pleasantville is just clawing right back there, refusing to bow out of this game. Now the runner goes again. McWade has another throw. It's high. He brings it down, and he got him. So a throw down to third. McWade gets the runner down.
Boy, I would really question that decision. I don't know why you're stealing third base in the 5th inning down 3 runs. That's just that's
aggressive.
That's not a good decision. I don't know if the runner did that on his own or if the coaching staff called that.
Here's the pitch from Sewell. That one's high. Facing the 7-hitter.
That wasn't even – not to mention, too, Dan, it's a free throw for McWade. You have a left-handed batter. I mean, that is
he's not going to have any obstruction or
that
anything.
is an extraordinarily bad decision.
Here's the 2-1. High chopper foul, and it's 2-2. For Marenko, he's 0 for 1. Walk and a strikeout in this game. But a 9-6 Wildwood lead here in the top of the 5th inning.
Yeah, there's that old baseball adage, don't make the first or third out at third base. Now that was the second out. I would say you should never make any out at third base.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was just that's just a poor decision right there, really poor.
We'll see if it comes back to bite him. The 2-2, jammed foul. Yeah, I think it definitely was just a lapse in judgment, if you will. I think definitely with these kind of programs, sometimes decisions are made that you certainly would want to have back, and we'll see if it comes back to bite him, especially if Marenko gets a base hit. Definitely could have said that the runner from second could have scored, and it would have been 9-7. But only time will tell, and hindsight is 20/20. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a ground ball. Softly hit to second base. This one's picked up, and the throw to first is in time, so the inning is over, and that runner most likely wouldn't have scored anyway, but Owen Bannon makes the play for the 3rd out of the inning. So Trevor Troiano started the inning. Lewis Sewell finished it, but 2 runs came across for the Greyhounds. Wildwood will look to put some more on the board as they lead by 3 runs, 9-6.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It is the responsibility of all of us to make sure that our friends, family, and anybody who we hold dear in our lives is feeling well. The problem with spotting mental health issues is that the symptoms aren't that obvious. Just because someone is okay or appears okay on the outside doesn't mean that they're okay on the inside. It's important that if they are in distress, that they call the right people and they get the help that they need. And it is very important that we treat each other with respect, regardless of who you are or where you come from. But it is just as important that we treat ourselves with respect, regardless of the situation going on in our lives. If you're in distress, you can call this number, 988, or you can visit any of these websites if you're not in distress, but would like to learn more information about mental health awareness and research.
Pinch hitter for Wildwood, Ryan Gilligan hits for Will Audie. We mentioned that there are no seniors in the starting lineup for Wildwood. Well, here is at least one senior that you'll see walk in June, as Gilligan will bat here to lead off the bottom of the 5th inning. He is yet to have a hit this season, but he's only had one at bat. He has scored 3 runs and has stolen 2 bases, so make the implication that he's mostly a base running figure for Wildwood. His one hit came, or excuse me, his one at bat came in the season opener, the second game of the season versus Salem.
Wow, that pitch there by Caraballo went behind.
Yeah, gotta wonder if he's running out of gas here. We said he's entering the inning with 84 pitches. Could really see both starters cut from the game here in this inning. Troiano was pulled after 4 1/3, and we'll see who Pleasantville has in store as well. In terms of their pitch count as it stands, they have. That would hit him in the helmet. How about that? Looks like he's okay. Check with the home plate umpire, and that'll be the 4th hit by pitch by Caraballo.
Yeah, he's only walked 2, but as you just said, he's hit 4 batters, so he's put 6 runners on base. And Gilligan's a kid that moved down here to the Wildwood area last year. Came to Wildwood as a junior. Pretty good football player, a little inexperienced in baseball, but he loves being around the program and has accepted the role that he has.
So Kevon Richards.
He's another senior. He's the only other senior on the team. So
you're going to get both of them in the game here.
So Kevon Richards will pinch run here for Ryan Gilligan.
Now for Pleasantville, they only have 2 pitchers who cannot pitch today. Gabriel Quinones threw 96 pitches on Monday, and Henderson Tavares threw 75 on Tuesday. They are the only ones that are currently on rest. Now, Aaron Marenko threw 31 pitches on Monday, but he only needed 1 day of rest, so he's good. And for Joseph De La Cruz, he threw 61 pitches, which requires 2 days of rest in the 51 to 70 pitch bracket, but his day of rest wrapped up on Thursday. Throw back to first, he got him! A little sidearm pickoff move by Alex Caraballo, and the runner, Kevon Richards, is out at first base, and we now have a clean slate with 1 out in the 5th. So 3 different players represented in the 7 slot. Will Audie was the starting batter. Then it was Gilligan who pinch hit. He got hit by the pitch. Then he was taken out for Richards, who got thrown out at first base. So it's 1-0 to Owen Bannon, who has reached base twice, 1 for 2. Reached on an error in the 2nd inning. Pleasantville with a litany of errors in the field today, but again, that's just a product of the division that they play in. But this is their 3rd game of the week. They beat Pilgrim Academy 15-5. That one's fouled back, and then they beat Lower Cape May in a slugfest 13-12.
That's not a good decision there by Bannon. He's ahead in the count 2-0. That pitch was probably ball 3, and he was off balance when he swung the bat. He was way out on his front foot.
Well, Bannon now 2-1 count from Caraballo, and that would have been ball 4. So to your point there, we'll take a look at the Cape Atlantic United standings going into today's game. St. Joe's Hamilton, they won the division. They are at 12-0 overall, and that'll be ball 4. But St. Joe's Hamilton, best overall record and best division record at 15-4. ACIT having a bit of a renaissance season after dropping down from the Cal National. They're 12-7. Pleasantville is 11-8. Wildwood Catholic is 7-11. Cape May Tech 5-11, and then at the bottom, Bridgeton at 4-18. Atlantic City at 3-15.
This is Michael Sciarra coming into pinch hit for Vinny Fusco Sweeney.
So Wildwood getting a lot of their reserves in here in the late innings.
Sciarra is another one of those freshmen, and he's played a little bit for this Wildwood team, mostly as a DH. Not surprise me if Fusco Sweeney re-enters to play the field.
Wouldn't be surprised at all. You do have that 1 substitution rule, but Wildwood as a whole on their team fields 9 freshmen on their varsity roster, including 4 in their starting lineup. I mean, I remember last year we covered a game at Glassboro where they had 5 freshmen. And one thing that I can say about teams with a lot of freshmen on the varsity level is that most times, if they stick together as the runner steals second, it's extremely projectable, meaning that they are a team that if they stick together, if the coach sticks around, if the staff sticks around, they really have a great opportunity to be good. Now, Glassboro started off rough this year. They were 1-6, but they got a lot better, and they're now 8-10, and they've won a couple really good games. And it just shows that those guys working together, grinding it out every single day, really made them a better team in the end, and they could be a good contender in Group 1. They're already top 8. They'll get a first-round home game despite their under 500 record because they've played a lot of very good teams. They've played Williamstown. They've played a couple Olympic national teams. They've played a couple colonial teams. It counts 2-1 to Michael Sciarra.
They have a win over Wildwood. The Warriors are a 13-win team.
And that will help them in the end as well. It's outside. Yeah, but really, I mean,
I thought that was ball. I thought that was the 4th ball. But
we had 2-1 on our board.
Okay.
So it's 3-1 to Sciarra, and then it'll be the Troiano brothers again. Trevor on the on-deck circle, Gianni in the hole. 3-1. That one's high and inside, so another walk, and we'll get
and I think
3 straight base runners.
And I think Caraballo might be done here, Dan. He's up at 98 pitches.
So Franklin Urania, the 3rd-year head coach here at Pleasantville, who has brought life back into this program. We mentioned they had a 3-year stretch from 2014 to 2016 where they only won 1 game each season. But in Urania's 3 years at the helm, they have won 8, 8, and 11 games respectively. So even though it may not be state championship winning baseball, Pleasantville has brought themselves back into the conversation, at least in the Cape Atlantic League, as we'll have a new pitcher into the game. Right-hander number 35, that is, let's see, that is Joseph De La Cruz. So he's going to come in from shortstop. I wonder if this is a 1-for-1 swap here because Caraballo, he's warming up over at shortstop, so it looks like this is just going to be a 1-for-1 exchange. But when we return, Wildwood will have 2 runners on and 1 away in the bottom of the 5th inning. New pitcher for the Pleasantville Greyhounds is Joseph De La Cruz. He's the 2nd pitcher of the day as he comes in exchange for Alex Caraballo with 1 out in the bottom of this 5th. So both starters only lasted 4 1/3 innings. And for De La Cruz, the sophomore, he's got a 7.07 ERA, 35 2/3 innings. He's struck out 41 batters, but he has walked 37. So he's got a career 8.93 ERA, and he misses inside here to start his day, as this is now, let's see, this is his 11th pitching appearance this year, so he has appeared in more than half of Pleasantville's games. His first batter, though, is Trevor Troiano. Not easy to come out of the bullpen and face 1, 2, and 3, especially when you don't really get to warm up much coming in from shortstop.
Yeah, Troiano is 0 for 3, but reached base all 3 times. He reached twice on errors. His last at bat, he actually struck out. The ball got away from the catcher, and he ended up beating it out at first base.
Yeah, so the drop third strike. He's come around to score twice, and he almost did a third time in his second at bat when he reached on the error to center field, but he was out trying to advance to third. And that ended up being a crucial out in that inning that prevented Wildwood from opening up the game further. Strike call to the inside corner. Great breaking ball from De La Cruz. Counts 3 balls, 1 strike. Here at Maxwell Field, just off of Wildwood High School at the Wildwood Recreation Center. The 3-1. Strike on the inside corner there. So Troiano's gotten 2 pitches in the same location, and it's allowed Joseph De La Cruz to get back into this count.
Good decision by Troiano to let that go. That's a pitcher's pitch there on 3-1. Give De La Cruz credit there for painting the inside corner, but on 3-1, you don't want to swing at that pitch.
Here's the 3-2. That ball is clubbed into left field. This could get down. It does. It gets over the head of Quinones. Rounding third, coming in will be Fusco Sweeney. A second runner is going to come around, and the throw completely misses the catcher. Trevor Troiano gets to third. It's 3 bases on a fly ball to left field, and it's now 11-6. Wildwood back up to a 5-run lead.
Yeah, that's a big hit there for Troiano. It was misplayed a little bit in left field by Quinones, but it'll go down as a hit. As he kind of came in on the ball in the first, and the ball was hit over his head. And Troiano ends up at third there.
Now, how would you score that? Double and then E7 on the throw?
Yeah, I believe you scored a double and an error on the throw. And now with a 5-run lead here with 1 out and still a runner at third.
That's exactly what I was going to do, as this one's popped up. A lot of room to run in foul territory, and backing away from it is Garitas. I don't know if he lost sight of it at the last second. That ball might have crossed paths with the light tower, and he might have decided to cut away from it at the very last second.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that, but that's a good call there, Dan. Yeah, that ball may have gone right into the lights, and that might have caused him to recoil there. He probably lost it in those lights.
You also have to consider that at the high school level, Pleasantville probably doesn't play a lot of their games at night. Wildwood is one of those teams that, I would say considers themselves to be lucky to play and grateful to play a lot of their games here at this great field at Maxwell Field.
Yeah,
Pittman has a few, but the more experienced you are in night games, the less vulnerable you will be in that situation. Pleasantville probably doesn't have that same experience in nighttime baseball. A lot of 4 o'clock starts. It's a ground ball. Caraballo throws it to first. Looks like his pitching arm is still okay. Run scores.
I'm surprised Pleasantville didn't have the infield in there. You're down 5 runs in the 5th. You just gave Gianni Troiano a cheap RBI there by having the infield back.
That is his first RBI of the game, and it makes it 12-6 Wildwood. So as we said, when these two have played, it's been a high-scoring affair. It was 9-7 when these two played just last year. Wildwood won that game, and funny enough, it was actually an 11 a.m. start that those two played. And in that game that they played last year, there were 7 combined errors, and Wildwood had 6 runs in the second inning, with none other than Brian Cuniff getting the win in that game. I'm not patting you on the back. I'm just
Well, it certainly wasn't me. My eligibility was exhausted years ago.
Now, I apologize for not knowing. Is that your son?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I would have assumed so, but that one hits Mahiney. He'll get to first base. So 2-out hit by pitch. Second time reaching for Mahiney. And it'll be McWade now facing De La Cruz with 2 outs in the 5th inning. Now, is your son going to college for athletics?
No, he's actually at Coastal Carolina Division I.
Oh,
so
okay.
Not good enough to play there, but he's involved with the basketball program.
Listen, they're saying that Cameron Flukie out of Egg Harbor might go top 15 in the draft this year. So
yeah, we'll see. He got hurt earlier this year. I don't know if that'll scare the scouts away, but he is back pitching again.
I think if he has a strong performance in the Sun Belt tournament, and in turn, if Coastal Carolina makes a run to Omaha, I think it'll rebound the stock that he lost, as that ball gets a nice rebound to Garitas. But getting down to second base with no problem will be Mahiney. And a runner in scoring position here for Wildwood. 1-0 count to McWade. Yeah, you have Flukie, who could be a draft prospect. Alex Weingartner of St. Augustine, straight out of high school. We did have 2 South Jersey products taken out of high school last year. Frank Chiron out of Delsey was taken in the 2nd round by Milwaukee. And Logan Dawson, who was a former classmate of mine in elementary school before moving to Voorhees and attending Eastern Regional, was taken in the 16th round by the Phillies. 2-0. That one's low. But South Jersey's had a lot of success in the draft process over the years. Chase Petty now getting valuable service time with the Cincinnati Reds, the grad of Mainland Regional, another straight out of high school pick.
Garitas, a good block there on that last pitch in the dirt.
And swinging 3-0. That one goes on the roof of the rec center, and it's 3-1. And again, Brian, excuse my ignorance, but what would be inside the rec center? Basketball courts?
Basketball courts. Upstairs, there's a weight room. There's some office space.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
Have that opportunity
nice
for the community. That one is low, so McWade will reoccupy first base with a free pass. And this will be batter number 8 of the inning for Wildwood with Blanda. If Wildwood wins today, they'll improve to 14-7. One of their best seasons in a long time. And for Wildwood, after today, they will take the weekend off. They'll have Pennsgrove on Monday the 12th, their last Tri-County division game ever, because they're leaving the conference, will be Wednesday versus Salem. There's a strike called. And then Wildwood Catholic and Middle Township will be their pool play games, their round robins for Saturday. And their final game of the regular season will be another night game, May the 21st versus Cape May Tech here at Maxwell Field. That one hits Blanda, and the bases are loaded.
Yeah, now Wildwood's in a position here where, one more big hit might pretty much put this one away. They lead 12-6, and bases loaded with 2 outs. So kind of a big spot here for Lewis Sewell, who's now the pitcher in the game for Wildwood.
Yeah, so Sewell bat with the bases loaded. Wildwood, of course, trying to meet their win total from last year of 17.
That would be 2 years ago.
I'm sorry, they were 10-13 last year. I was looking at the wrong page.
2 years ago, they were 17-11.
And they were 4-4 in Tri-County Classic play. Last year, they were 1-7. Their one win came over Clayton, but they had 5 straight losses to end the year, including a first-round loss to Shalleck in the South Jersey Group 1 playoffs. But again, these are 2 teams in different positions. I mean, Wildwood, they have had historically good seasons, but this is a year that's coming back from a sub-500 campaign. Meanwhile, for Pleasantville, this is their first over 500 season in a long time. We talked with them, and they said it was they didn't have an exact year, but it was their first time winning double-digit games in a season in 20 years. So that's an accomplishment that really means a lot to this community in Pleasantville, and I think that they can take this momentum. They have some young players on this team, a lot of freshmen and sophomores, just like Wildwood does, use that momentum and continue to compete in the Cal United. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Big hit, as you said, can open up this game.
Oh.
And another hit by pitch.
Well, so Wildwood will get a run off of this.
13-6, as coming in to score will be Mahini. And we'll have another pinch hitter here. This is going to be number 24, Cam Menkins. So another freshman for Wildwood. And a 7-run lead. This is now the fourth hit by pitch of the inning.
Right.
And the inning started all the way back with a pinch hitter in, Ryan Gilligan. Feels like eons ago, but Gilligan led off the inning with a hit by pitch.
And then his pinch runner got picked off, so there was nobody on and 1 out. And this inning has kind of gotten away from Pleasantville a little bit here.
Another 4 spot for Wildwood in a 13-6 game. The 0-1 upstairs. Some other South Jersey scores. The last game of the Diamond Classic, Northern Burlington defeated PVI 10-3. PVI scored 3 runs in the first, but were held off the board after that. Seneca shut out West Hampton Tech 17-0. And Cherry Hill East still on their winning ways. They've won 6 in a row, and they beat Triton 7-4. Let's see what else we have here. Bishop Eustis beat Rancocas Valley 12-3. Sorry, NJ.com isn't sorted as much as I would like. An upset, Paulsboro over Overbrook 6-4. Oakcrest over Atlantic City 12-1. Another swing and a miss. Pemberton topped Leap Academy 25-0. Glassboro beat Deptford. Big win for their power points, 5-0.
Locally here, Lower Cape May beat Wildwood Catholic 7-0.
That one is low. We originally had the Wildwood Catholic game on our schedule. We actually had 3 games with Wildwood scheduled, all night games. The Wildwood Catholic game, this, and the Middle Township game, but the Middle Township game was eventually canceled. As, look out, that's ball 4. Runner was going.
Yeah, it was 3-2, 2 out, so
it's a pretty wise decision to come in there, as another run will score on the walk, and it's now 14-6. And don't blink now, but a bloop base hit could score 2 runs and end this game prematurely.
Yeah, exactly. So here's Owen Bannon, who's had a couple pretty good at-bats tonight.
He's had 1 hit, a double in the 3rd. That one's up and away. Again, big thanks to Rich Hans for having us out here. How this all happened was we had the opening day game scheduled between Wildwood and Bridgeton, but the game was postponed for another day, and we could not make the rescheduled date. Now, Wildwood ended up beating Bridgeton 28-0, so maybe it's a good thing that we didn't broadcast that game. But Rich Hans got out to us and said, hey, would you like to do some other games for Wildwood? And we, absolutely, this is a great opportunity to be here and showcase these players as, well, we're on the brink now. Another hit by pitch. That's the 5th of the inning, and it's now 15-6.
Yeah, and Fusco Sweeney is re-entering here.
Now, he re-entered when he was on the bases the first time.
That's right.
So when his pinch hitter, which was Sciarra, walked, Fusco Sweeney came in right away and ended up scoring a run. But now Franklin Urania coming out. He's going to make another pitching change here. Sprinting to the dugout to grab his glove with Aaron Marenko, who was the designated hitter. And in an effort to save this game and prevent it from being a 5-inning mercy rule, Wildwood has Pleasantville on the ropes, and they'll make another pitching change. So only going through 4 1/3 innings was their starter in Caraballo, and only getting 1/3 was Joseph De La Cruz. We'll take another break as Marenko will enter the game. 15-6, Wildwood leads by 9 with the bases loaded. Aaron Marenko, the new pitcher for Pleasantville, as Wildwood has Pleasantville on the brink. The left-hander coming in as the third pitcher of the inning after Caraballo got us started, and 1/3 of an inning was thrown by Joseph De La Cruz. Marenko has a 7.88 ERA, 5 1/3 innings, 6 earned runs, 8 walks, 7 Ks. He appeared on Monday versus Pilgrim Academy and threw 2 innings with 31 pitches. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Wonder if Wildwood's not going to swing here, unless they absolutely need to.
Yeah.
They have scored 6 runs in the inning, and 1 more run would send us home early with a 5-inning mercy rule. That one's outside, trying to draw the runner back to the bag. This is batter number 12 of the inning.
Yeah, and I got to think Fusco Sweeney's up there, and he's going to take it. He's going to stand there until he gets a strike, at least.
It's 2-0. There have been 5 hit by pitches in this inning.
He
does get a strike there. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he holds until he gets 2 strikes. Because if Marenko 7 walks, 8 Ks, his rate seems to be a little bit out of structure. It's a 2-1. That one's outside, so he will hold here. And if he walks in, it would be an anticlimactic end to a Friday night ball game here in Wildwood. Currently 15-6. Wildwood would get their 14th win of the year, and Pleasantville would fall to 11-9. The 3-1 from Marenko. Ground ball out to short, picked up. De La Cruz is going to go to the third base bag, and the inning is over. So I'm not sure what happened there, but we will play another frame as Wildwood, with the bases loaded, unable to get that 10th run. It's 15-6 going to the 6th. Welcome back to Dan Wilkins Broadcasting coverage. If you've liked what you've seen tonight and you'd like to advertise with Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, send us an email with an advertising inquiry at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. That's THEDANWILKINSSHOW. We offer affordable advertising rates for all kinds of businesses, from brick-and-mortar stores to social media organizations to online brands and everything in between. Whatever your business needs, Dan Wilkins Broadcasting can promote it in all 7 South Jersey counties with over 180 annual viewers and over 10,000 combined social media followers. Send us an email today again with your advertising inquiry at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. That email is also spelled out in the description of our YouTube videos. We would love to have you on board on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. 1 ball, 1 strike. That one is high. So with Wildwood putting Pleasantville on the ropes, they left the bases loaded but scored 6 runs. Made it a 9-run game. It's 8-9-1, Rosado, Vasquez, and Caraballo for Pleasantville. Showing bunt several times, but he has pulled back in the nick of time, and it's 3-1. Rosado 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts. Strike called. Here at Maxwell Field, quite an interesting field at that. You've got the beach houses behind us. You've got the beach houses in right field. Makes for a great backdrop. Now it's outside, so Rosado takes the walk. And you've got, well, first of all, we're actually not as far from the actual beach as I thought, but at the same time, in Wildwood, you really never are far from the water.
No, you are not.
You could be on the very edge of the island, and you would never be far from the water, as Vasquez will be the batter.
Pretty close to the bay here at Maxwell Field. This field used to be, it's actually been turned around a long time ago. This was renovated. And it used to be that where you're looking now towards center field, back in the far corner was the soccer field is out beyond left center. Back there used to be home plate, and you used to hit this way.
Wow.
Toward the field was flipped around when they redid when they got a grant to really spruce this entire facility up, and they've really done a nice job here.
Wonder if that has something to do with why the elevation changed behind home plate and where there's that dip. I wonder if that was originally out of play in the old reconfiguration of the field, and then when they did renovate it, they didn't really have a way to level the grass.
Well, no, it's a totally different field. It used to be a little further down.
Okay.
So
where the fence is now.
Where the center field fence is now would have been like shallow left center field, maybe the shortstop area, where the center field fence is now. So the field was a little further back. But it's been this way now for, it's got to be 20 years now, every bit of it. But this is one of the better high school baseball facilities in South Jersey.
Oh, for sure. Now that I've seen it, I agree with you. I mean, I obviously hadn't seen it before today, and I certainly agree with you that this is a very nice facility.
And when you have a good facility, what it does is it ends up, well, first of all, you get interest in your program.
Right.
From young kids wanting to come and play here, but you end up almost every year, Wildwood ends up getting more home games than away because visiting teams want to play on this field.
And I think they enjoy the experience of being in Wildwood because it's a
Yes.
popular shore town, and if the weather's nice, get there.
Big if this time of year.
Well, yeah, for sure. It definitely is a big plus to get to go on the boardwalk. Like, that's what I did. It's a 7 o'clock game. If this was any other 7 o'clock game, I would have reported an hour early at 6 o'clock. That's when I would have left the house at 4:30. But instead, I left at 2 o'clock, got here at 3:45, 4 o'clock, had time to go on the boardwalk, grab my favorite slice of Wildwood pizza, and then, shop around a little bit, get to look at maybe some of the new places and, check it out and maybe get a preview of what the summer would look like. And then by the time I was done, by the time I spent $60 at Douglas Fudge, I was ready to get back into my car and head back to this field. That one's outside. Count is 3-0, and Wildwood, maybe Pleasantville.
Yeah, I mean,
really
Wildwood not finishing that inning off last inning and getting that 16th run that ended on the 10-run rule. I mean, the last thing they want to do, the last thing they want to have to do is bring another pitcher in here.
Because that's going to, still, even though the division is now out of play, they still have power points to fight for. And this is a Group 2 game, and Rich Hans is going to come out and talk to his pitcher, Lewis Sewell.
I think this might be a pitching change. We'll see.
He'll have the bases loaded.
Usually it's his pitching coach, Sam Caraballo, who will come out if it's not a change, and I think this will be a change.
So 2 walks and a hit by pitch in the inning. And Rich Hans will have a change here. So Lewis Sewell is out. Coming in from the dugout is Vinny Fusco-Sweeney. And I believe he is the one that will come in here. It's a 9-run game, but the Greyhounds have the bases loaded with nobody out, but they have yet to put a ball in play. And how about that? That's a Craig Kimbrell delivery right there. He put his arms down in front of him.
They don't call him Vinbrell for nothing.
That's great. Kids are still learning Craig Kimbrell. That's great.
Yeah, so Vinny Fusco-Sweeney will come in and try to get out of the jam here, and throws hard. He's kind of a kid that really is maybe just a 1 or 2 inning pitcher.
That might be all you need today.
That's right, exactly.
So
what Wildwood needs now are just strikes.
So we'll take a break. Bases are loaded with nobody out as Lewis Sewell comes out of the game, and Vinny Fusco Sweeney comes into the game here with bases loaded and nobody out. Vinny Fusco Sweeney on the hill, the junior right-hander. Just look at this. 2.8 ERA for the junior right-hander. 5 innings, 6 walks, and 1 strikeout as that ball gets away. Runner will come in. Pitcher was covering, but a little bit too late. As the run scores, Rosado comes in, and Wildwood will have to score another run in the bottom of the 6th inning to put this game away. And honestly, with how Pleasantville's scoring, they may have to score a few more runs on how this inning's going. But Rosado scores, Vasquez to third, Caraballo to second base, and it's now 15-7.
Second and third, still nobody out.
Yeah, the 3 batters before Sewell was taken out was a walk, a hit by pitch, and another walk in that order. So a ball hasn't been put in play yet in this inning. Here's the 1-1. Fusco Sweeney. I got ahead of myself there. Now that one is put in play. Shallow second base, it's bobbled. Chance at first to come back, and the ball gets away from the first baseman. 1 run is in, 2 runs are in. The throw to second is finally going to stop the play. As a throwing error by Owen Bannon, he missed his first baseman, Nolan Mahiney. And I'm afraid to say we may be here for the full 7 innings today as Pleasantville brings in another 2 runs. They've scored 3 in this inning, and it's now 15-9. So that now has cleared the bases from when Sewell was in the game. Well, Vasquez and Caraballo have both scored.
Bannon there, that's a freshman mistake. He bobbled the ground ball.
I think he
panicked.
But
he still had plenty of time to get the runner at first, and he rushed the throw and threw it wide.
I see so many freshmen panic in all sports, really. You see it in basketball where you're making a mistake and then you try to overcorrect it. The mental psyche hasn't been there
But
yet.
here's the issue with Bannon, too. He's out there feeling sorry for himself with his body language. The one thing you have to do, especially in baseball, is you make a mistake, you got to flush it and worry about the next play.
This one's fouled back. And no, you're right. It's about the body language because for sure you're showing the other team that you made the mistake and that you're maybe a little bit vulnerable, and you just have to be, no pun intended, a warrior. You do have to go out there and act like nothing happened and just, hey, we'll flush it, get back to it on the next play. No balls, 2 strikes to Joseph De La Cruz, who came in the game in relief of Alex Caraballo as a pitcher.
And excuse me, that's actually Gianni Troiano at second base now,
okay.
Not Owen Bannon, who made that error.
The point still applies that you have to control your body language to really settle in and be an emotional ball player. As that one fouled back, De La Cruz took a big swing. This is now the 5th batter of the inning with no outs recorded. 2 runs scored on the error, which came off the bat of Angel Garides. So where would Bannon be then if he's not at second base? Maybe in the outfield?
Not sure if he's in left. It's tough to see from here.
It's so tough to see with the fence.
That's where he normally plays, though. He could be in right. We've made so many changes here, and we didn't get updated on those.
Very typical of a Group 1 team. A lot of defensive changes. It's almost like Little League where you see a lot of players shifting around mid-game. This is the third pitcher of the night for Wildwood. Same to mention the third pitcher for Pleasantville, but they burned through 3 pitchers in the inning in the 5th. Caraballo came in, De La Cruz came in, but only got a third of an inning and really dug a hole for Pleasantville as he gets under one way low, floated to right center. It's caught, and a near collision is coming in. A great catch by Michael Blanda. Brings that ball down. I wasn't sure if that ball was going to drop, and he nearly collided with his right fielder, Sweeney. That's out number 1.
That's Matt Mayer in right. So Owen Bannon is in left field. So that was Blanda almost colliding with Mayer. Actually, they kind of did clip each other, but Blanda coming up with the catch. The runner was on the move there and had to go back to second base, and he had the base stolen. Obviously, De La Cruz had to swing at the pitch because he had 2 strikes.
Swing at anything close, and that one was low, but he was able to put the ball in play as this one fouled back. (15-9). Wildwood leads Pleasantville here in the Military Appreciation Night. Wildwood wearing their camo, half maroon jerseys. I actually really like that uniform set for the Military Appreciation. Reminds me of what the San Diego Padres do with their Sunday camo jerseys.
Well, Wildwood actually has 4 different sets of uniforms.
Throwback to second, not in time. Wonder if that's the Pleasantville bus in right field that's hanging out there, moving around. No, what I'll say is that when I was in high school at Audubon, we only had 1 uniform set, and it was the gray pants and green jersey, like a seafoam green, is another throwback to second. But I think now with these programs getting a little bit more funding and honestly getting a little bit more creative, we're seeing more and more teams adopt home and road different jersey sets and alternate jersey sets as well. Foul tip. That'll be the second strike against Morales. 0-2. For Alejandro Morales, this is his 4th plate appearance. He's 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts and a walk. Time is being called here. Umpires.
I think they were confirming the count. Dan.
Okay.
That's what they were doing.
Okay, it is 0-2. In the on-deck circle is Braylon De La Cruz, so that more or less means that Gabriel Quinones will not, or most likely won't return in this game. He came out with some kind of injury when he was on the bases.
I don't know how Morales doesn't let that ball hit him on an 0-2 pitch. Jumped out of the way.
I think it's a natural instinct. Those guys, you know, sometimes they just don't think of it. 1-2 misses outside, 2-2. And for a game that started at 7 o'clock, hey, we're very good with the time. I've seen some games where we start 10 or 15 minutes behind schedule. It's now 9:36. So almost 2 hours and 40 minutes here in Wildwood. That's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Morales goes down swinging for the 3rd time, and that's out number 2. And you're right that it would have been huge for Pleasantville to get another base runner on a hit by pitch, but instead it'll be out number 2, and the batter will be Braylon De La Cruz. So this is his first at bat. We said that he came in for Gabriel Quinones, who exited the game with an injury. We mentioned that he can return with the 1 substitution rule, but Braylon De La Cruz batting more or less says that he's not going to return. He's a freshman. No hits in 12 at-bats, 3 runs, 1 RBI, 2 walks, 1 hit by pitch, 1 stolen base. Has only had more than 2 at-bats in 1 game this year. That was an 11-9 win over Atlantic City back in late March. Boy, that game had to be cold if you're playing in Atlantic City.
Oh, we think it's cold here in Wildwood.
Yeah,
that's the coldest field in South Jersey. It's right on the bay.
Yeah, all of Atlantic City High School
and there's nothing to block the wind.
We did an event with another network, HSG Network, a youth football showcase at Atlantic City High School at their football field. I was freezing by game 2 as the 1-2 to Braylon De La Cruz is a swing and a miss.
A good job by Sweeney there to get the final 2
and
hitters on strikeout.
I doubted myself. I didn't realize. I thought that was strike 3, and I was correct, but nobody else realized it was strike 3. So 2 strikeouts in relief for the new gentleman on the mound in Vinny Fusco Sweeney, the 3rd pitcher of the game. Wildwood will now need 4 runs to put this game away, but we'll have to see what they're capable of doing. It's a high-scoring affair. Wildwood 15, Pleasantville 9. Welcome back. It's a 6-run lead for Wildwood over Pleasantville. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Brian Cuniff, our guest announcer here as a part of our collaboration with Cape Atlantic Live from Maxwell Field in Wildwood. It's a brisk Friday night, but it's a fun ball game so far as it's 15-9. Wildwood, in the bottom of the 5th inning, was 1 runner away from winning the game on a mercy rule. They were up 15-6. But a ground out to shortstop, a 6-5 ground out, ended the threat, and Pleasantville took advantage of it by scoring 3 runs. A big flailing swing that time. 12 batters came up for Wildwood. The count is 0-2. It's the Troiano brothers. Trevor Troiano, 3 RBIs and a double for him today. He's reached on 2 errors. And then his cousin, I'm sorry, I kept saying brothers. It's the cousins of Trevor and Gianni Troiano, and then Nolan Mahiney, 1, 2, and 3 outside. I mean, if you're up by 6, wonder how conservative Wildwood's going to be with their swinging here. Left-hander shakes off his catcher. That's Aaron Marenko, 3rd pitcher of the day for Pleasantville. The 1-2 was outside, well, 2-2.
He was shaking off just to shake off. He shook off about 3 times. There's no way he's got 4 or 5 pitches in his arsenal. Just been designed to shake off. Sometimes they do that.
That ball's hit well into left field. This one's straight away. It looked better off the bat, but instead, oh, it's out of the glove. Never assume any fly balls in this ballpark, as getting down to second base will be Trevor Troiano. That'll be the 3rd time he reaches on an error, as Helbert Quinones could not come down with that baseball. And he gets the runner on second base. Tough break there. Just missed it.
Yeah, he got under at that time. Judged that one correctly, but just didn't squeeze it.
I think I'm used to calling too many Gloucester Catholic games or Northern Burlington games where a fly ball like that is assumed to be an out.
Well, you know, there's that old saying out there, the reason why God gave you 2 hands is to play baseball. If he uses two hands there, he probably catches it.
Yeah, he only reached up with his glove side. He didn't have the backhand to support. So Troiano gets to second. He reached on an error by the second baseman in the first, an error by the center fielder in the second. And this ball flared in the left field, took a curveball outside and yanked it to the pull side. Run will score, and the Troiano family helping each other out there. Gianni Troiano RBI single. It's his second RBI of the day, and that makes it 16-9 Wildwood. Trevor Troiano scores. We'll have a pinch runner, number 0, Lysander Laureano. And the batter will now be Nolan Mahoney.
So that's actually a pinch runner and not a courtesy. Because Lysander Ruiz Laureano has been in the game. Laureano has been in the game as a courtesy runner. But Trevor, I'm sure, assuming Wildwood does not score 3 more runs, would go back into the game at shortstop.
That would make sense, but no better time to use your one re-entry. You know, it's almost like a free pass, if you will. Only no better time to use it than in the 6th inning of a 7-run game, pardon. So 16-9, Wildwood. We knew this game was going to be high scoring from the get-go. I mean, it was 9-7 when these teams last played, but this is something else with Wildwood winning. It was 5-2 when they met in 2024 and 7-1 when they met in 2023.
Well, the interesting thing about that game last year was that I believe Wildwood had a 9-1 lead going into the 7th. And Pleasantville scored 6 runs and had the tying runs on base when they made the last out of the game.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier in the broadcast as this has popped up. Shortstop, De La Cruz makes the catch. Once again, one hand covering that one, but this time he gets away with it, and there's one away. But, yeah, we mentioned, first of all, your son got the win in that game, and second of all, that Wildwood scored 6 runs in the 2nd inning.
Right.
But this game had a 6-run inning in the 5th, but I mean, Pleasantville got on the board with 2 runs in the top of the 1st. They had 3 base runners, 3 fly balls hit to start the game, 2 hits and an error. And then Trevor Troiano turned on the Jets and struck out 3 batters. He had 7 Ks as this ball's hit in the left field. That's a base hit. Again, a curveball on the outside part of the plate that was pulled to left field to the hitter's side. And a base hit for McWade will bring up Blanda in the 5 slot. 5 hitters and 1 out. But to close my point, what I'm saying is this game hasn't really been back and forth, but every time that Wildwood has put on a crooked number of runs, Pleasantville has been able to get at least a few back to keep themselves in contention.
Yeah, and then we mentioned that Wildwood had a shot to end the game, but swung 3-1 and grounded out into a force play when they had a 9-run lead in the bottom of the 5th.
That was the second hit by McWade. He had a single in the 1st inning, walked in the 4th and 5th, and now the batter is Michael Blanda. He has a walk, a hit by pitch. Actually, pardon, he has 2 hit by pitches and a strikeout. 1-0 outside. As we said, for Pleasantville after today, they will host Camden Academy Charter on the 12th. Those 2 last played in 2023, with Pleasantville getting the better of them in a 1-run contest. They will go to Lower Cape May on Thursday, and then a home-and-home versus Gateway to close the season. But Pleasantville, again, 10 seed in South Jersey Group 2. That's better than a lot of people expected from them, considering that in the 3rd year of Franklin Urania's tenure at head coach, they've won 8, 8, and 11 games respectively, and as we said, a program that hasn't won double-digit games in 20 years. Slow roller, Morales, nobody's covering the bag. And an infield single off the bat of Blanda loads the bases here for Lewis Sewell.
Yeah, well, Blanda can really run, and once Marenko didn't break right away to first base, that was going to be an infield hit all day. I mean, he has,
or in this case, all night.
He has elite speed for a high school baseball player.
So the batter is Lewis Sewell. Not saying it'll happen, but a 3-run double in the gap would send us home here in the 6th inning. Swing and a miss, and I can't remember the last time we had a game, even if this game does end in 6 innings, a game that ended in a mercy rule and still was almost 3 hours. We're at 9:48.
Yeah, people wonder why you can't get umpires.
Here's the 0-1. Sewell waits on one, hangs it to shallow center field. A slide, it's caught in center, throw to the plate, it's a sac fly, run scores, and a great play by Eric Rosado. He slid in front of him, made the play, and that's out number 2. But the runner, Laureano, comes in, and that makes it 17-9. I was not expecting that play to be made, especially with the precedent of how the defense has been tonight for Pleasantville. They just haven't had the best night.
Yeah, that was one of the best plays of the night. Right there, that is a tremendous catch. Off the bat, I just didn't think he had a chance to get there, Rosado. I thought it was actually blooped into a perfect spot, but what a catch.
Sometimes you just got to tip your cap, but Wildwood does get a run out of it, makes it 17-9, and now this one's popped up. Tough play at short. De La Cruz overran it and drops the ball. So that will be another error as Audie gets on, and now it's going to be Bannon. No, excuse me.
Yeah, Bannon is at the plate.
Okay, this is Bannon. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I read the wrong number on his jersey. I'm not perfect.
Zamir Willis, the pinch runner at third base, and really he should have scored on that. He's on second base. That ball's in the air a long time. He didn't run hard.
So we're in the same situation we were in as a ground ball to first base. Morales has it. He'll tag the bag. And fear not, no mercy rule this evening in Wildwood as they score 2, but Pleasantville ends up getting a +1 on the inning as they trail by 8. We'll go to the top of the 7th. We saw Gianni Triano warming up in the bullpen, or at least he was warming up in the batting cage down the third base line. And it looks like he's going to come on to close this game out. We go to the top of the 7th here in Wildwood, a brisk Wildwood Friday night, 17-9 Warriors. Welcome back, 17-9. Again, we'll have an early start tomorrow, 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. in the second round of the Diamond Classic. We'll be at Alcyon Park for 2 games. The first will be Rancocas Valley in northern Burlington at 10 a.m. Yes, 10 a.m. I'm going to be home at maybe midnight tonight. And I
hope your knees are okay for that day game after a night game.
Well, I'll be sitting in the press box, but there's a ground ball out to short. Gianni Triano's the new pitcher. A bobble at short, no play. And the runner will beat it out, so that'll be an error as Henderson Tavares reaches. And Gianni Triano only threw 13 pitches in yesterday's game versus Pennsville, so he did not need a day of rest, as it'll be Tavares.
That was one of the rare instances on a ground ball that the shortstop would have been better off staying back on.
Right.
When Trevor Troiano came in and attacked that, which normally you want to do, it created a tricky in-between hop that he couldn't handle.
Another grounder out to third. Tough play on the run. He got him. Great play at third base by Sewell.
That is a terrific play. You want your third baseman to try to get that if at all possible, because he has such an easier throw to first base running to the bag, and he's cutting it off early. If that ball gets past Sewell, it's easily an infield hit. And he was able to not only make that play, but whirl his hips around enough so he was as square as possible to first base when he let that throw go.
So 17-9, Gianni Troiano from the stretch. Bunt is dropped. It'll go foul down the first baseline. So again, our first game of the day will be Rancocas Valley and Northern Burlington. A former BCSL matchup, but now it'll be a cross-conference matchup at 10 a.m. and then Egg Harbor Township versus Cherry Hill West at 1 p.m. Now, there is rain in the forecast for tomorrow, but there are no changes in the schedule as of now. The rain is not supposed to start until about 12 or 1, so a good chance that we get the first game in. The only concern is Alcyon Park doesn't hold water very well, as that one's fouled back towards the street, and it's 0-2. The batter is Rosado. The center fielder made a very strong defensive play in the 6th inning. He's 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts and a walk.
Tavares had that base stolen, if not for the foul ball. I mean, Wildwood, I mean, honestly, I don't even know why they're even paying attention to the runner on second base.
Just let him go.
I'm talking about the fielders. It's, it's 17-9 with an out in the 7th inning. Yeah, I don't know why you even concern yourself with that.
Just let him go with defensive indifference, as they are going to let him go. And now the ball gets away. Here comes the runner to the plate. The throw is high. Tag, he hit him in the head, and the run scores. So you were right. They let him go, but unfortunately they let him go too far. Pleasantville gets the run back.
Well, the mistake,
it's 17-10.
The mistake there by Gianni Troiano is the fact that you don't have to throw to second base.
Right.
The runner had already taken off before he even threw the baseball. If you just fake that throw, you run at the runner, and you have him in a rundown, and he's out.
So this is the third game this year to see both teams score 10 runs or more on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. The strike is called in the inside corner, and that's out number 2, as a bit of a unemphatic strikeout that time by Gianni Troiano, but it sends us to the last out of the game. So the other 2 games that we had with both teams scoring 10 or more, PVI over Audubon 13-10, and Audubon over Ocean City 12-11. That was all in the Ralph Shaw tournament weekend. As a strike called to the number 9 hitter in Vasquez. Maybe the best situation here for Wildwood to be facing the 9 hitter in the last out of the game. Again, follow us on our social medias on DW Broadcasting for all post-game content, including our post-game interview with the player of the game. As that one hits him, that's the second time he's been hit, and kudos to Edwin Vasquez as the 9 hitter. He's reached base all 4 times. A walk, an RBI double in the 4th inning, and now 2 hit by pitches in consecutive innings. So we'll go back to the top of the order for Caraballo, who eons ago in the top of the 1st inning had a triple to right field, came around to score, and scored the first run of the game for Pleasantville.
And we're just about at the 3-hour mark for this one.
That one misses up and in. We've had 2 other 3-hour games this year, the aforementioned PVI Audubon, but also Eastern and Bishop Eustis. That went 3 hours, 11 minutes. 1-0, strike called. Pleasantville, as we said, with a loss would fall to 11-9. Wildwood would improve to 14-7. They'll host Pennsgrove on Monday in non-division play. That one's high. 2-1. And as we said, Pleasantville will host Camden Academy Charter. I would imagine that a lot of teams are holding off from playing this weekend to allow umpires to officiate games in the Diamond Classic, but they're going to say that hit him. Yeah, that hit him. So it barely grazed Caraballo, but the second hit by pitch of the inning allows 2 runners on here for Pleasantville for Angel Garitas.
Caraballo really stands up on top of that plate.
Right.
And I actually don't think that ball was that far off the plate, but it nicked either his arm or maybe even just his jersey.
Kind of like a Brandon Geyer type, somebody who just draws a lot of hit by pitches by basically standing on top of the plate. As that ball gets away, goes into center field. Both runners are going. They'll throw to the lead at third. They'll hold there. And now 2 runners are in scoring position for Pleasantville.
I don't know. I don't know why they're worried about a
No,
runner on
it
second base.
doesn't make sense at all.
Two outs in the 7th inning.
And you're up by 7 runs. It's all defensive indifference. And now another error will get charged because you gave up that throwing error and you gave up the base. Strike is called. 17-10. Very high-scoring game tonight here in Wildwood at Maxwell Field. That hit him. I think that hit him in his front side, right in the stomach. But now Pleasantville's been plunked 3 times, and before Pleasantville's bus heads up the Garden State Parkway, they might stop at CVS for some ibuprofen as the bases are loaded. As Garitas gets hit, and Joseph De La Cruz will bat with the bases loaded.
There have been 12 hit batsmen in this game.
Wow. Between both sides?
Between both teams. Pleasantville's players have been hit 4 times. Wildwood's players have been hit 8.
Gianni Troiano, the cousin of today's starter Trevor Troiano, who threw 4 to 3rd innings, also has 3 RBI. 1-0 count. That pitch missed inside to Joseph De La Cruz, the shortstop. That one's also inside. De La Cruz has been at shortstop in 2 non-consecutive stints today. He was there in the starting portion of the game, came in as a pitcher for a 1/3 of an inning. No appeal. They're going to say he didn't go. It's 3-0.
It's tough to appeal that anyway. The base umpire is on the 3rd base side of the mound.
Yeah, he's not going to have the best look at it. And that's going to be ball 4. It goes back to the backstop. Everybody will come in 90 feet. That ball caromed all the way back out, and now Rich Hans is going to come out as Gianni Troiano, who, again, had a strong start to the inning. There was 1 error and then 2 straight outs. But Pleasantville has now gotten their last 4 runners on base. It's now 17-11. Caraballo to 3rd, Garitas to 2nd base, and then De La Cruz gets to 3rd, to 1st. And Rich Hans looks like he's going to make a defensive change and a pitching change as well.
He doesn't like the fact that Gianni Troiano, in frustration, threw his glove across the infield. He's going to take him out.
So in a 6-run game, yeah, they're going to take him out of the game. The umpire's blocking my view. I can't see who the new pitcher is, but it'll be a right-hander for the Warriors. We'll come back with a 17-11 lead with 2 outs in the 7th inning. Owen Bannon, 2 outs in the 7th inning. He replaces Gianni Troiano, who was taken out of the game. The bases are loaded, and a strike was called to Alejandro Morales. Bannon, the freshman.
So Vinny Fusco Sweeney is in at 2nd base.
Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. We don't even have time for it. Bannon with a 1.66 ERA in 12 2/3 innings, 10 walks, 13 Ks. Looking to shut this game down at the 3-hour mark. Line drive, left field. It's foul. Barely stayed outside of the chalk.
That wasn't foul by much.
Certainly was a close call, but the home plate umpire was on top of it, and it's still 0-2. So Pleasantville 2 runs back in the inning, and a combined 28 runs scored between both sides in this game.
This will be an off-speed pitch here. It should be.
for the ball game. The 0-2, runner breaking from third. Strike three on the outside corner, and Wildwood picks up their nighttime victory versus the Pleasantville Greyhounds by a final score of 17-11. It was a game that certainly wasn't the cleanest. It had a lot of errors, it had a lot of walks, had a lot of hit-by pitches, and had a lot of mistakes. But Wildwood, for the third straight year, at least defeats Pleasantville in their non-conference play. But starting next year, with Wildwood being in the Cape Atlantic United in the next school year, guess what? They're going to be divisional opponents, and they'll have to play two. So here's a little preview to how that could look like, especially with Wildwood not having any starting seniors on their roster. A high-scoring affair, 17-11. Our player of the game goes to Trevor Troiano, who threw 4 1/3 innings, and he really held it down. He set up the stage for Wildwood to blow the game open. He had 3 RBIs in the game, and even though he had a lot of times where he reached on an error, he still was able to reach on base, and he scored as a runner 4 times. So he definitely had a strong performance tonight here under the lights.
Yeah, it's a good. Any win's a good win. I mean, I think this was a little sloppy if you're Wildwood,
For sure.
And certainly they had an opportunity to put the game away on the mercy rule in the 5th inning. Didn't do so. They end up winning at 17-11, but certainly good for Wildwood in terms of getting back on the winning track after yesterday's loss to Pennsville, and it will certainly help them in terms of power points in Group 1 to beat an 11-win Pleasantville team.
That'll help them already because they're number 4 in South Jersey Group 1. As we said, if everything held, they would host divisional opponent Pittman in the first round of South Jersey Group 1. That'll be all for us tonight on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. The final score of tonight's game, Wildwood 17, Pleasantville 11 in a 3-hour slugfest that saw a lot of folks getting back and forth as Wildwood will run this one out to center field as their game comes to a close. From our entire crew, our social media coordinator Haley Mejia, our graphics crew Caleb Lane, Carson Rosso, and Fisher Giannotti, my producer Damian Waiters, my color commentator, our guest Brian Cuniff of Cape Atlantic Live, I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow for 2 games in the Diamond Classic from Alcyon Park at 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Have a good one, folks.